We've got nobody in the chat though.
They're all out at Christmas parties. I think we've got to bollock here, to be honest.
There might be, yeah. Good point, that.
I know. No one asked my opinion, though, in the group.
But it says 2 people watching on one of them. I've got it on. Have you got it on, Gareth?
Yeah.
It's me and you then. Well, it's a bit of a pointless exercise, isn't it?
Well, this is what happens when you have 2 weeks off. 3 weeks off.
It's been
Yeah.
Forgot about us. We're not the hot trending thing anymore.
I don't think we
Was
ever
we
were.
ever? We were the biggest
Oh,
people in
no,
our household.
is watching.
What
Rob's
if I'm
watching.
fucking totally dead?
Is it working, Robert? Can you comment?
Position.
Oh, he probably can't comment because he hasn't got an account.
What the fuck?
Yeah, see. I'll read comments if you want.
Go on.
Man,
Can you
Kate,
do them in a non-northern accent, Mark, so I can understand, please?
Mark, are you going to do the comments, yeah?
Yeah.
What the fuck is the matter with this?
We've got Rob watching.
Hello.
We're doing
Welcome.
excuses.
Freaking Retro Liberties Christmas special. We're here.
Fucking very special.
Fucking live. Do not swear, do not say bollocks.
Bollocks.
We're a man down.
Fridge
Mike.
man is gone.
Big Mike.
Big Mike Houlihan he's not here. Not yet anyway. He may turn up later on. So welcome anyway, guys. This is about 3 weeks in the making, I think. We skipped 1 week or 2 weeks. And so we decided let's drop it in between Christmas. And here we are. So we've got about 30 questions to get through. As per usual, if you guys have got anything you want to discuss or chuck into the mix, we've got Burnout Culture there reading the comments. So let's crack on. I think we've got about 3 people watching at the minute. So we'll move on.
Gareth will leave if we've not got a big enough audience. You do know that, do you?
Yeah.
So I say we've got about 30 odd questions. Now some of these are going back a couple of weeks, so I can't really remember the origins of why these were done, because a lot of the stuff's obviously pertains to what was hot at the time, if you like, within the retro community. So the first question, let's see if we can rattle these adult brains. When you have a channel that is popular, do you think you should give a helpful hand or let a smaller channel grow organically? So I think I don't think this is to do with shout outs. I think this is more, and I don't want to say his or her name, but I think it's to do with artificially inflating a new channel, given that you're a bigger channel. Is that right? Is that a fair assumption?
Like
guys?
setting up a second channel that's already going to draw a bigger audience because it's already got a foot in the door, sort of thing. If that's a way to describe it. I don't know, because my channel's only got like 200 people, so I can't really fucking promote anyone.
I think it's
Gareth's a bigger channel, so I'd ask Gareth.
No, I think it's safe to say Stu's is a bigger channel.
Yeah. But I mean, I think I don't agree with it.
I don't agree with it, but I think it's important for a channel also to grow organically.
Exactly. So
I mean, it's vital.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people I know, friends of mine, who have other channels. They do like drone channels, and they could have quite easily done the crap out of their drone channel on their other channel to get exposure. And I think quite rightly so, they let it stand on its own 2 feet, because that way then you get a true representation of how popular it is, rather than just people spamming the crap out of it. And I think it gets artificially inflated personally, but say each to their own. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see the point in having like 10,000 subscribers, but each of your videos only get like 2,000 views. You're only eating what that is that 20%? I've done the maths quick. 20% of your audience.
You've taken the words out of my mouth with that.
I've got like a shit channel with like 240 odd subscribers. But I think each of my videos have got like 170 some views. That means, in theory, most of my subscribers have watched my video. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
So are these aimed at specific channels or what? Or is it
No.
we're not
No.
mentioning channels names. We're avoiding that.
I think it's just a generalisation, Mark.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a difficult one for me. Is that depends what the channel owner's sort of long term goal is, I guess. Isn't it? I mean, if it's organic growth of a channel is probably the right way to go about it. Let it just see how it sort of manifests over time. But
It's hard. It's a harder way. It's a slog.
Yeah, I've seen
what do you class
grow
as
massively
organic?
over the space of a few weeks.
But what do we class as organic? Because, you know, in a way, you could be intelligent. Like, you know, if the other week, when the PS Mini come out, I decided to do a fucking video on that day and I was one of, say, the first 4 people to do it, my channel would instantly get a mass amount
That's
of people.
viral. That's different, though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But
that's not what we're talking about.
From that. I could get a load of subs from that, but it's not growing organically. It's like I've just decided to.
No, it has, because you've done that yourself. What this is artificially grown it. So basically, it's like, say if, I don't know, you got a sex tape of Metal Jesus and you bribed him and said, right, you need to fucking big my channel up on Twitter and all social media, and he just kept spamming your channel, that's artificially inflating your channel, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
If you do a viral video, that to me is organic, because you've done that yourself. You've not gone on to, you know, you've not got someone bigger who's got a bigger base to basically fucking ram it down everyone's throat.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't do that anyway, because fucking most people hate me anyway.
Well, I've spoken to you, Dan, about that already.
Well,
You think they care so much, Dana, don't you? You've got to care to hate someone. No one gives a fuck about you, man.
It's not all psychological. Come on. But no, I mean, it's not a given, you know. I've got a video that's got 55k views, and it was getting about 1,000 views a day when it came out. No, but seriously, and that did not get me a substantial amount of subscribers.
No.
Got about 10. So it's not a given just because you have a viral video either. I think it's
They
important.
probably all watched the other ones, to be fair.
Because the way it works, the way I would describe an organic growth of your channel is someone watches your content, thinks, I like this, I want some more. So they subscribe to watch more of your content. That's organic. And like you say, what's the point of having 1,000 subscribers if you're only getting, let's say, 40 views a video? They're clearly not watching your content or engaged with it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's different ways of looking at it. I mean, there's big YouTubers that might have partners or friends or something like this that encourage them to get on. And of course, the natural thing to do is to help out your mates. And you're going to do whatever you can to bolster the support, aren't you? You know, before I ever had a channel, I'd met a few of you. Tutti was one of the people who'd subbed before he even had any videos and things. But there's a bit of a difference there. The difference is why are you in it? So you've got to ask yourself, are you in this just for a bit of a laugh, bit of fun, share your knowledge, or are you in it to make money? So I think that's where the shilling starts. If you've got an individual who's got a popular channel or semi-popular, making a few quid, Patreon, all the rest of it, and then you're bringing on somebody else who's, you know, related to you in whatever way, and, you know, you're pushing them to have a channel because actually you just want to live off of YouTube.
Doubling down.
Oh, doubling, yeah, there's no two ways about it. You are doubling down there, but is it wrong? No. Is it deplorable to a degree? Does it
leave a bad taste in the mouth?
Yes, it does. But then those kind of programs, those kind of shows, whatever you want to call them, channels, I don't think they're not for us, are they? We might be in the same sphere as them, but I've, you know, sort of grown up over the past couple of weeks, and I just realised that these fucking idiots, they're not for us, are they?
No, they've got the same ilk.
And we should just leave them, let them be, man. Fuck them.
No, I concur.
On the edge of the fucking blade, throw it out here, right? Okay, they're all mates, they're all making money off YouTube, but they are probably all mates. If Rob, who does not have a YouTube channel, decided he wants to create a YouTube channel, there is not one of us in this group who wouldn't promote it.
Agreed.
I'm just throwing that out there.
So you're saying you're being a bit hypocritical, Dane?
Not if.
To a degree. I hear what you're saying. I agree, actually. I actually agree. There's a slight hypocrisy there. But at the same time, of course, I think there's a bit of a difference with, 20 or 30 of your mates signing on than getting your whole audience to say, right, you've got to fucking come over here as well. And I try and make it inconspicuous, but it's the most conspicuous.
They're not holding a gun to anyone's head, though, and telling them that they have to do it, do they?
No.
No, that's right. That's right.
It might be the lemmings effect and one jumps so they all follow, but that's the case of everyone in life anyway, you know what I mean?
But equally, on a slightly different tangent, if Rob did decide to do a channel, I mean, I don't fucking script my own shit. So there's no way I'd be writing scripts for him, and I wouldn't be editing his stuff or videoing his stuff, would I? I'd be like, I could give you some tips or whatever, but you're flying your own pants.
You know this business with the scripts, right? I've got to interject here. I said this business with the scripts. If they're selling these fucking scripts, right? These so-called scripts. Who's making the bloody dosh off them? Because I'm in the wrong bloody job. Because I can fucking script, motherfucker. If you don't think I could script, look at my last video, you bitches. You bitch-ass motherfuckers, right? That's how you write a script, you fucking spastics.
Right,
now, listen up.
Let's move on to the next question.
I'll write you a proper script.
Let's move on. Right, so this one's a bit behind the curve, but it probably is still quite relevant. Have you cancelled your PS Mini or PS Classic? If so, why? Or did you? Maybe should be the question now.
I can't comment on that now.
Yes, I cancelled mine at the last minute because I crumbled to what I was reading, people's reviews on it, and I did make
fucking cheap.
Shut up! I did make my own assessment of it, and to be honest, I think everything that was said about it, I've agreed with, in terms of it falling short of what they could have actually delivered as a solid Sony product. I don't care that it's supposed to be 90s sort of emulation going on. They still could have done a miles better job. It were a rush job on the fucking Nintendo bandwagon with that by Sony. I'm sure.
I don't think it was Nintendo bandwagon. I think they wanted it out for Christmas.
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah.
Which, if you look back in gaming history, is probably not always the best thing to do, rush something out for Christmas. But I didn't cancel mine. Have I played on it? Not much, but it's fine for me for what I wanted it for.
Yeah.
To collect dust on your shelf.
Yeah, collect dust on my shelf, put in and just play it instantly on my telly without having to fucking mess around and bang up, sort through my shelf with everything stacked in front of. And I actually don't mind the games list on it, There's some I won't ever play. There's some I will play.
Yeah.
The analog sticks not being on there either don't fucking bother me.
No,
and as soon as Stu's worked out how to crack it properly, we'll all be all right.
Well, it's not me. I've said this. Well, it hasn't been uploaded yet, but it's not. I haven't cracked anything. I'm not fucking Mr. Mecon brain. It's the other guy.
Yeah, but you're the one who dumbs it down for all of us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For fucking talking about all this complicated stuff, you just go, look, man, bang on a USB, bang in. And as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I called that would be hard to fucking do it.
Yes, Dana.
I'll just quickly. So far, we've just lost someone. We're down to 12 again now, but we've definitely got Retro Perspective, Glorian 82. No one else has really made a comment yet. We were just asking about what the topics are, and we should give. I don't know what it means by that. To be fair, give shower. Oh, he's asking you, Pete. Can you Retro Perspective is saying, can you make him a script, please?
Well, if he's prepared to fucking cross my palm with some cheddar cheese, baby, I'll chill myself out to anyone. Even if it's going to be some politically correct SJW shit, I can get with that. Whatever. As long as there's money involved, let's do it, baby.
Right, well, that's a yes then. He will do it as long as you're prepared.
Ching, ching.
Everyone's got a price.
I've got a price. It's cheap.
Is that the $1 million man?
So let's just go back to this then. So you as well, Gareth. So are you saying you're fully happy with that machine? It's exactly what you thought it was going to be, and you're happy with that.
In hindsight, the only thing I'm really unhappy about was the price. The price point was a bit insulting. I think £90 is an incredible amount of money for what it actually does.
Well, do you feel
the only thing I was disappointed dramatically with? But this thing regarding the emulation and the quality of the games, yes, there could have been better games on the console. Is it a travesty? Not really. It's not as bad as what people's making out. The emulation, it looks as good as if I hooked up the PS1 today to my 4K TV. It doesn't look vastly different. Yeah, I mean, other than the price point, I'd say that's the only thing I'm really disappointed with. I think £90 is a lot of money.
What
£45, £50 would have been
in your
better.
mind?
Say again, sorry.
What price should it have been in your mind?
I was saying about £45, £50.
Right.
It was probably, give or take, about double the price that it should have been in hindsight, especially when you reflect on obviously what Nintendo were selling their version for. Obviously the SNES and the NES Classic.
Fair enough.
It's expensive.
What about you, Stuart? What do you think? Is it, where are we on the sort of cracking of it?
So there's a couple of variations you can take from that, and I agree with what Gareth has said. I think in essence, in what it is, and the games and the library, I think it is overpriced. I mean, if you look at the Nintendo's offerings, and they really put the stake in the ground, and a lot of those are all their AAA titles. So pound for pound, it beats the PlayStation Mini to the ground. But like I said when I looked at it and I reviewed it, the build quality, I still think there's something that's not quite, something doesn't sit right with me, because the build quality of it is absolutely superb. You can't knock it. It's not cheap, but then they're cheaped out on the operating system and some of the games. Now, when you start looking at the sort of the hacking scene or the cracking scene or whatever you want to do it, and the people that are looking into it, there is a school of thought that sort of says it was done that way by design. Because
surely at Sony, they'll have had two completely separate departments, one working
possibly
on the build of it,
yes,
and one on the internals.
Correct. But there's a school of thought that says, because the way Sony licenses out and buys licenses for games and stuff, for them to then license them back in for that would have cost, it probably wouldn't have been financially viable. So what better way to sell your consumer unit than to make it inadvertently quite easy? Well, it was never as easy as the SNES or NES Mini, but easy enough that it can then be exploited, and then you don't have to pay the royalties on all them games. So you're not paying Naughty Dog any money for Crash Bandicoots. You're not paying Insomniac Games for Spyro. Because let's face it, it was never really going to be about the actual unit itself for mass sales. Yeah, your dad, your uncle at Christmas, whatever, that's going to get a few in Tesco's and Asda's. But the real bulk sales, like you had with the SNES and NES Mini, especially as soon as it was known it was hackable, it went nuts.
What do you think?
Can I come in there?
Yeah, go on.
See, you mentioned it in your video, Stu, and I think I'd said it in our WhatsApp group before. What about if Sony had the intention of, you could buy a USB stick with a certain amount of games on it, right, because of it being USB? Yeah. And maybe that's why maybe the emulation wasn't the greatest, because also on there they could have updates and shit like that.
Yeah. That was
my thought. And I said,
so a bit of backstory to that. And again, I'll allude to this in the video that's up and coming very briefly, but probably a bit more here. The exploit that they found, and you're quite right there, Dana, in terms of the USB, that is the route in. And what they found is Sony basically left the keys to the front door under the doormat. So again, I say it alludes to the fact that it was probably done by design to allow someone in the community to exploit that. Now, the exploit is basically, the route in is basically via an update. Now, what that update involves, no one really knows. It could have been it could just be to update the actual software on there. It could be to sell USB sticks or dongles in games, stuff with extra games on it, possibly. But that doesn't really then account for how you're going to use two controllers. Yeah.
But couldn't it be like a pass-through stick or something?
Maybe, I don't know. Again, it's all open. It's all subjective. No one really knows. It's all guesswork. But the fact is that back door, if you like, was left there, and people have exploited it. That's how basically you're able to run stuff from a USB stick.
So can I just ask them, what do you think Sony's initial sort of approach were on this? Did they not care that the games were below par? Do they not care that everyone's going to think it's overpriced? You know,
they must have looked. Let's be honest, right? So the difference between, and I said this in my video, the difference between what Nintendo did, which is make it. I mean, I'm no hacker, right? I'm just reading between the lines. Relatively easy, and they even left a message in the code to sort of say, "Please enjoy our product. Please don't break it," or words to that effect, right? Yeah. You look at SNK with the Neo Geo Mini. Everyone thought, "Well, that's going to be hacked within 3 weeks." The difference, what SNK have done is their Linux. I'm not going to get too technical, but the internals runs on Linux, and that's password protected. So unless someone literally downloads the whole thing and reverse engineers it, and/or gets the password, you're not going to get into that. But what Sony have done is like a middle ground, whereby yes, it's password protected and stuff, but like I say, they left those keys or those passwords under the doormat for someone to find.
Yeah.
So I think they had one view on, it's going to cost us too much money to license the big hitting games or whatever. Let's make it so that at some point it's going to be exploitable, and then we'll rake it in on the hardware.
Yeah, maybe so.
Stuart,
You know what?
Have you had no beer yet then? Is that your first?
No, it's my third.
Well, that's the most articulate, comprehensive that I've ever heard you speak. Well done. I actually quite enjoyed that.
Read some comments on this, Stuart.
No, I want to fucking say my bit first, motherfucker.
Sorry, Pete.
Jesus
Sorry.
Let's have a scalper's
Watch the
point
people
of view.
first, will you?
Quiet there.
Everybody else can have a bloody long diatribe. Cut me bloody off.
Scalper's point of
Think
view.
about it. My opinion on the PlayStation Classic or Mini, whatever you want to call it. Now, I was a big advocate for this product at first, and I didn't go through with it in the end. I still don't have one, but I waited right till the very last day. I went and looked at it, and I didn't think it lived up to expectations. However, having said all that, I did wait till the very end, and I looked at all the videos, and you know what? It's not often that I go along with the mainstream, but on this particular issue, I think they're right. When it comes, like you say, Tutti, there about the internal hardware, right, and the software, if you like, it's not up to scratch, not up to standard. The game selection I thought was brilliant, to be honest. A lot of games there I really like Mr. Driller, a Final Fantasy VII. You know what I mean? What's that? A Twisted Metal. There's some really cool underrated classics there. Puzzle Fighter 2. But what I will say is, it's. I think they rushed the product. I think that goes without saying. Carry on, Mark. Thanks for letting me have my say.
Sorry about that. It won't happen again, Pete. Right, so Dylan Craven's kicked it off by saying, I've got a feeling it's going to come down in price. It doesn't appear to be selling in great numbers. Let's see what happens in the new year. Glory Hunter 82 said, yeah, I saw a ton load on the shelves in Smith's the other day. Tinny Steve said, price is definitely an issue. Only reason I cancelled is that I'm gambling in a few months it'll be cheaper. I'm saying £50 by Easter. I can wait till then. Retro Perspective, pretty much the only people buying them are doing it to make a YouTube video and then moan about it.
Yes.
Yeah, fair point.
Mentioning the Japanese version for the shmups. Cindy Steve said, hacking the PS1 Mini. Give it till next summer, and you'll have Switch games running on it.
So, is that it, Mark? Is that it?
No, there's a few more. This is what I'm trying to.
Yep.
Glory 82. I'd get the Jack one just for Parasite Eve. It's also Gradius Gaiden and G Darius are both on there.
Very sick.
So there. I looked at the Jack lineup. There is some fantastic games on there, but I still haven't ordered it. I don't know what I'm doing yet, to be honest.
Okay.
So, sorry, Stu, go on.
That's all right. It's just another side thing, which it's not going to sway anybody because you're either in or you're not. And 100% agree. You know, in terms of the games, I think the games have let it down. There's no doubt about it. Now, people say it was rushed. If you think about it, right? How long's the NES or SNES Mini been out? It's been nearly a year. I can't even remember when it come out. So Sony must have been on the ball as soon as that dropped.
Yeah.
It's not took them that long to develop this fucking thing. Or they've not sat on their asses for the best part of 8 months and just decided to just start doing it. There's no way. Because the emulator they've got, it's not a proprietary one. It's one it's literally off the shelf. It's a free one.
Yeah.
So there's no development there at all. So for me, a lot of it points to it's by design.
But that in itself, I actually agree with you. You're right. They've had it in the back burner for a long time.
Yeah.
And all these corporate twats have been sitting there. They came up with that the second the NES Mini was an
Did, yeah.
Without a doubt. But I think maybe they've just pushed it through. You know, it's been an idea. And I think, as you say, the modelling is brilliant. You know, they've got all that.
It's fine.
But it's the internals that are lackluster. And I think it's cutting costs, isn't it? Like Gareth says there, you got to pay if you want a good product, you've got to pay out. Now, what is it? 90 quid, 85 pound. That isn't that much money, is it? Really, if you consider it. No. You know, for a Sony official Sony product.
Not when you think production costs and the licensing. No.
Well, that's what
I want to go back to what Stu said in a minute regarding the copyright.
How many of them games did they have to pay? How many of them games did they have to pay the license for Sony? And then how many did Nintendo have to pay for their system?
None. Nintendo own them all.
There's maybe Sony got to the point and thought, you know what, this is not going to become cost viable if we go over the £100 mark.
Yeah. So what do you do to make it still sellable? You make it hackable. So you go. Sorry, it won't nothing to do with us. It's not our fault.
No doubt, at some point they probably did put it out to run fucking brilliantly, and then realised, you know what, this system's going to cost over £100, £150 if we've got to get all those licenses.
Yeah. I've been saying
Nintendo haven't had to pay a penny for any
the
game.
Licensing would cost the earth. These are some of the biggest companies in the world, whereas Nintendo, they own all the games. Going back to what Tootie said, which was a fair point, regarding Sony sort of being aware that this product would be exploited. You go back to the PlayStation 1 in the 90s, it was the most pirated console in history.
Yep.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. I knew it was a rare occasion that I met anyone who had a genuine game. Back in the 90s. I think that's what made it so popular.
Yeah.
Because it was accessible. When they broke down that source code? Are you still going on? Sorry, mate.
No, sorry, go on, mate.
So much, I just have to keep going on.
I think you're right though with the hacking side of it, because who were they aiming this product at anyway? Probably us from the 90s. So
you're saying about who they're aiming the product at, but actually, if you look at the source code, it's absolutely full of other games. The big hitters, the Tomb Raiders, the Crash Bandicoots. I forget which YouTuber had put this video out.
Yeah. All that is so, Pete. That people got confused. They thought they were hidden on there. They're not. All they are, they're placeholders. So again, it's all conjecture. It's all speculation. One of the schools of thought was when they were testing it or developing it or whatever, they put those games on there because obviously they were the most popular, whatever, and they wanted to see how they ran. It may have then been that, like Gareth has said and like we've discussed, the actual royalty rights. It just made it like, fuck. We can't do this. It's going to cost us too much money. It's going to push it over budget. People ain't going to buy it. And they've left it in there, slapdash. Trust me, there's no extra games. There's nothing else hidden in there at all. What is in there in terms of the emulator, which they haven't done, which is quite surprising to a lot of people, is, I forget the name of what it's called, there's an option you could turn on there. It's like bilinear filtering or something like that. And the 3D polygons, it cleans them up. It makes them hell of a lot sharper. And a lot of people have gone, well, It's weird stuff like that, almost like it was just they've just took it as it is. Now, for me, as soon as the SNES and NES Mini come out, like we said, Sony ain't no slouches. They would have been developing that, and then just to pull an emulator off the shelf and not even configure the games individually, it's literally a template. Every single game follows the same config in terms of the emulator. There's no tweaking to it any game. Now, when you've probably still seen the videos, but you can go in there with a keyboard, or if you've already got the LOL hack running, you could do like start and triangle, and you can go into the settings, and there's a section in there within the actual visuals in terms of the 3D stuff. I think it's trilinear filtering. I could be wrong, but it cleans up the visuals no end.
I've seen that. And
it's just so odd, and that wouldn't have cost anything to do.
What about the idea of having PAL and NTSC on the same
language, don't they?
I appreciate that, but if you were just trying to make it, sort of fit for purpose, if you like, you'd have just gone all NTSC. Maybe?
No, because the NTSC games wouldn't have had any Euro languages on them. They wouldn't have French or
but that's
German.
Pretty simple, isn't it? So what I'm saying is that's the bit I think what was rushed. That element there, I mean, that would have been really easy to make it, optimal with all the language settings. I mean, that would only take a bit of tweaking for anyone.
If you've got, I don't know, Crash Bandicoot in the US, right? That's not going to have any other language than American English. You can't then stick that on to the PlayStation Mini, try and sell it to French.
I appreciate it. Surely there should be some language select. I mean,
that's why that's what the Euro ones have.
Go on.
It's like Parasite Eve. Glory that Scott's on about Parasite Eve. It's going to be in Japanese. It's not going to auto translate the game. You're going to play it in Japanese.
I think that's really in this day and age when these games are well over 20 years old. If you've had this in the pipeline for so long, to make it a really decent product, it's not going to take you a couple of geeks, a couple of nerds, a bit of time to translate it. It's all
what you would do in that instance. So if you had a Japanese exclusive game, what you would do is you would apply, if there is such, I don't know, I haven't looked at the PlayStation side of it, but on some of the Sega Saturn Japanese role play, it's mainly role playing games. Let's be honest. You apply a fan translation patch, and then you would upload that into your console, which is what I did with the SNES and the NES Mini.
Yeah.
Right. But Sony, I don't think Sony are going to do that to some of their own games.
Well, so you see, then this is the whole bit, isn't it? I mean, they're not their games; they're someone else's games. Now, if you're going to buy a license, so having licensed different products before myself, you get the optimum one you can. So it used to be within music, for instance. Don't send me an MP3 in 128. Send me a WAV file. Or it's not going on.
Yeah,
especially if you're a multinational corporation.
You're not licensing.
You have Square Enix or whoever.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be licensing a hacked fan translated version of Square.
I appreciate that. Would it have taken someone in Ubisoft or whatever? Or to
sit down and
just
translate the whole code? Yeah.
All you've got to do is, I see what you're saying, but I think in this day and age, for that optimum product, it's extremely easy for fans.
No, because
sit there and write it.
No, because that
would sit there and write a whole script, right? All you've got to do then is get someone to change a couple of words so it's not plagiarism. I mean, it doesn't. It doesn't. It boggles the bloody mind really that they release this without thinking of these little things.
I do agree with Pete on that. I think there would be a simpler way around this, without a doubt. It's only fucking language. It's text, for God's sake.
Yeah, but it's not just text, is it? I'm sure Parasite Eve had talking and everything. So what are you going to do? Get someone to redo the voice acting?
There's loads more to it than that.
You're going to pay someone to redo the voice acting for a game that you don't really own.
Exactly.
So
it's just going to bump the cost up.
Not cost efficient.
Yes, it's not cost effective to do that. Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Again, I'm trying to think back where these. So for those that are watching, these are not my questions. These are the group's collective brainstorms. Is it acceptable to profit from gaming IPs when you produce something that's currently not available, i.e., artwork?
Ooh.
So I think, if I'm
Do you
right,
mean like Salting Retro's doing with his pictures? Is that sort of thing?
I don't know.
Just clarify. Whose question was that?
That was
I don't
mine.
know.
Mate. That was mine.
Right, just clarify it.
Yeah, I don't know.
To be honest, it was literally that. You know, Soulfunk Retro is an example. Any of us are an example. If I chose to take a pre-existing IP,
Right, yeah.
like Sonic, like let's say I did a picture of Sonic and sold it on, or let's say I just took a screen print of Sonic and sold it as a picture.
Yeah.
You know, is that you know, where are the lines there? Where can you draw the lines? You know, because it isn't what you own, is it? You're effectively ripping off somebody else's product, no matter if they're a massive
Big or small scale, yeah.
You know, so that's what I was just thinking about people's thoughts there. You know, some people do such a wicked job of it, by the way. You know, like Rob's got the lights and stuff, and they look fucking amazing. And it's not official, but it looks fantastic. But you know, where do you draw the line? That's all it was about, really.
Mm.
I mean,
yeah, no, I think as long as it's kept like you say, small time and just doing it, selling it locally. You know, if it's something they're creating a bit of work of art, but you know, then it's absolutely fine. I haven't got it personally.
That's a good answer actually, because I was thinking actually I don't agree with it, but if it is small time, they're not exactly making a living off it, are they?
No.
Mass producing it in China.
And let's be fair, it's a passion project as well.
Yeah,
but if it was the big time, then yeah, I disagree with it because you're taking someone else's art and profiteering from it.
Okay, then, Gareth,
I'd say
big time. What about standing in a stall at Revival and making $2,000? Okay, it's not the big time, but you can live off $2,000 for a fucking month, can't you? Easy. You know, where do you?
I don't know. It's a bit of a struggle.
You either can or you cannot replicate other people.
To wriggle my way out of that question without upsetting people, I would say it's very unlikely you're going to make $2,000 from copyright material. So let's say from pictures or artwork printed that, let's say,
I think you'd be surprised, Jay.
I think you'd be very surprised.
Yeah.
Really? Am I wrong? Well, maybe I am.
Totally.
Yeah,
I think you might.
What I'd say is, can I have a
Come on,
say?
Dana, you loaded.
Go on then. Sorry.
Say, are fucking Sega making any that I can go and buy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair point.
You're filling the void in the market.
You know, I can't go and buy a fucking really high quality pixelated picture of Sonic the Hedgehog from Sega, can I?
Which makes no sense at all.
That's a fair.
Same with, a lot of the ones that I know Matt does, he's like, you've got Commodore stuff, you know, I can't go and fucking buy Amiga fucking pixels.
The Commodore have gone anyway, so you've got no.
Saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So no one's fucking doing it. So what's it matter?
All right. How much does it cost to get a frame?
From where?
Just a frame that looks half decent.
Well, you can all go out there and do it yourself.
Let's say at max. Printing costs, if you know a good printer and a decent bit of paper, what are you looking at? £5? Let's say 15 quid.
Yeah.
So there's your £15. Your profit margins are absolutely bloody mental selling these fucking things. That's a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, no moron. If you're completely stupid and are prepared to pay a load of money for a fucking picture, right, and a nice print, good for you. Listen, I wish I got there first. Do not get it twisted. I will be there at one of these events selling bloody knockoff shit. I absolutely guarantee it. 100%. I'm all for it. I think it's brilliant. But, you know, the bigger picture is it right?
Possibly not, but everything's been forged over time. I've got a pencil drawing of Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff like that there. I couldn't do it that good. Someone's took their time to do it, so I'll give them money for it.
Right, Dana. It's a
Go
fair point. Now, if you're able to, if you've actually put some artistic merit into something, right? I think that's a bit different. I do believe that.
But it's not his material he's copied. It's not his
No,
material. He doesn't know Sonic the Hedgehog.
I get it, yeah. So the IP it's a copy of an IP, but at the same time, he's physically produced that, which has taken a lot more time than, say, I don't know, a printed photocopy in a frame.
It depends
Or
how
whatever.
high quality it is, though, doesn't it?
Well, it depends, doesn't it? I mean, but let's be fair. A print is a lot easier to do than an absolute piece of art that someone's actually sat down there. It's a one-off, right? It's a one-off. It's not print and physically done, physically produced.
Exactly.
Big difference, in my mind, at least. And I'm no bloody art critic.
But that's their interpretation rather than a replica, isn't it?
Thank
They're
you,
not
Gav.
copying anything. That's their interpretation. Whether
Even
it be a
better.
picture or something, it can have a likeness to something, but it's still their interpretation. That's different. What I think we're talking about is whether someone goes on YouTube or goes on Google and just prints something, messes around a bit with, let's say, Photoshop, and that is copyright material from, let's say, Sega, and then profiteering from it. That's the difference, isn't it? There's a difference between that and your interpretation of, let's say, Sonic, your painting of Sonic.
I agree. There is a big difference, isn't there, between the two?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's it. That's the bottom line. But let you know, at the same time, I'm all for someone, if they can, making money off old IPs. It's like,
Yeah, well, I'd say
years
that
ago-
the old IPs, they could be dead. You know, if someone's not making stuff for, say, I don't know, like I said, some of the stuff on the Commodore Amiga, so should we just let that shit die then?
it's
kind of
the
irrelevant.
copyright law. The thing is, the
Bush has not
copyright
made a
law.
record in 20 years. Let's copy her material.
Copyright law, right, states that it's around 80 years usually if it's fully copyrighted. Okay, so I know people who've re-released Charlie Chaplin DVDs, not saying any names, but because it was in the public sphere, right, in the public domain, which the copyright has expired. But then, these big corporates can, repurchase the copyright. So I'm all for, someone trying to make a fast buck on it. I am. But let's not get it twisted. That's what it is. There's a big difference between someone making a fast buck, right, and someone producing a piece of genuine artwork like you've got there, Dana, of the Sonic, There's a big difference.
Yeah, there is. Do you want me to read some comments?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, so it starts off on this question. Bithead apparently knocks up some tidy artwork.
Fucking sick. Very sick.
Okay.
Prime example there, Mark, as someone who can take, an existing IP, but something on the PC Engine or whatever, and put his own spin on it. But he's a very talented, genuine artist without a doubt.
Yeah. AD Sneaker Freak had said retro game patterned balaclavas. We've got someone called Oscar Del Monte. I don't know this guy, but it's basically
It's the man that says yes.
I'd love to see the Arab in the balaclava draw a square, let alone some art.
Oh, God.
I can do it
Towel on his head.
a Jewish star. How about that? The Star of Davy, baby.
I didn't sign up for Charlie Chaplin. Games. Dylan Craven, how about all the guys on the Etsy using the original art?
Etsy, yes.
To create original art.
Different again.
Would they call that transient? Is it transient or I don't know what they call it?
The guys that do art, I mean, this is all I'm trying to say here is this. Yes, I appreciate art is subjective. However, to me, as a traditionalist, if you like, I'd prefer to see some effort gone into something. You know?
Okay, I'll throw it back out then. Kirsty, who does the stall next to me, usually at Revival, with the laser engraved stuff. Not a lot of skill involved in it. She programs it in there. She makes coasters, right, of all sorts. She does PlayStation, like, fucking designs and everything, right? This is PlayStation's official product. Shit, right? She does one proper engraved and shit like that, and it's much smarter. But
Where is it?
she doesn't own those IPs. Huh?
Where is it then?
I haven't got one. I won't pay for nothing.
Well, good, you haven't even bought one.
Exactly. You can't. The thing is, I get it. I think
I got
for
if
commerce,
you give
it's
me one for
spot
free,
on.
I'd have it.
It's the same. I wouldn't buy one
I
either.
didn't
Don't
pay
People
for
are
this one.
stupid.
I didn't pay for this one. This is
I
a
thought you were
Christmas
going to
present.
differentiate between the two.
That's what I was going to do, yeah.
No, but she does like proper detailed ones, like the logo from Abe's Odyssey, like sort of thing with Abe's heading and stuff like that. Much more detailed fucking work than that.
The thing
But
is,
she doesn't own that IP. She doesn't own it.
But I wouldn't consider that art necessarily because it's pre-programmed. So if you've gone ahead and actually carved that, then that's art. Now, look, all I'm saying is, I'm not knocking these people, by the way, of exploiting these.
She's only made 4 a
I'm
year.
not exploiting these. I'm not knocking the people who are exploiting these IPs, even. Right? I think fair play to them. You know, trust me, if I'd have thought of it first, I'd have got there as well. I'll be there soon. Do not get it fucking twisted. But all I'm simply saying is, is it right? That's all.
No sooner you fucking do it, I'm shopping you to Sega anyway.
Should we move on?
Yeah, being as everyone's gone.
They've all gone, haven't they?
You gone told each other's todgers.
So Mark's doing the bloody comments, so let's have a quick look, see if I can hop over. Hang on.
Pete's just disappeared altogether.
No, I'm here, man. Bloody, I just gone to the old fridge there. This is what the professionals do. They turn off their on again.
Oh, fuck that.
Where do we get to? Games.
Is Dylan Craven giving me any shit this week? 'Cause he's usually giving me comment.
Steve Addy Sneaker Freak, pop art. Now that stuff. Aren't the vinyl pops licensed though?
No, he's on about
Andy
pop art. He's on about
Andy Warhol.
Oh, fucking! I thought it was about the old Pop Tarts, the old fucking Cocoa Pops.
Andy Warhol.
Oh, fucking hell!
Is it the Bachelor's
Soup?
Soup?
Was it Campbell's Soup or something?
Campbell's Soup. Bachelor's Soup. Campbell's Soup. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't own the rights to Campbell's Soup, although they probably did do very well out of him doing that fucking print.
It is a good one. It is a good one. Bit more bring this up to date. New guy here, well worth a watch. Chris, the Flying Scotsman. As long as the art looks better than the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie footage.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be a killer, couldn't it? Again.
Screams Mario Brothers sort of shit to fucking
yes.
that bad.
I don't know what bits of that I've seen are actually either a piss take or the actual proper thing. I can't work out what's real or not. If that makes sense.
Right now, everyone's back. We can have another question, I think, Stu.
Yeah, okay. Let me jump off that because Mark's back now. Next question is: at what point, if ever, do you think you will cease retro content? So I'm guessing that's probably more aligned to making videos.
Oh, I've already done make any.
No, you're shit.
To be honest, Stu, that's another one of my questions. What I was trying to aim at there was, do you think you'll ever drift away from doing retro sort of topics and maybe, think about doing something else, like Gareth does real ale and, craft beers and vinyl collecting, that kind of stuff? Or do you think you're always going to stick to, retro
within the same channel? Or do you mean
different channel? Or either or, to be honest, mate. Either or.
Yeah, so I think it's a good point, especially probably them that are maybe thinking of starting YouTube. You think about it. If you, in terms of channel names, if you're not as definitive or as precise in terms of what it means, then it could mean anything, couldn't it?
Yeah, especially like the man cave. That could be anything. That could.
Yeah, that could be like a game thing, couldn't it?
Yeah.
But I think that's what he does. Gareth, in all fairness to him, that's what he's trying to push there. He's not just retro games.
No, it is. It's a good.
I mean, Mark started out Burnt Out Culture. He was like an arsonist channel, and he's just doing games now.
Pyromaniac.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, all right then, Stuart. So, say if and when you complete Mega Drive, then what? What's coming then?
I've still got Mega CD. That'll probably take about 5 years. But there's all bits in between, isn't there?
All right. Stu, would you ever consider doing something? I mean, I know you're a big football fan. So,
no, there's people that do stuff like that a lot better than I would ever do it.
Okay,
I'd say, go on, carry on, Pete.
I was just thinking there about like, you diversify maybe next year with Tales from the Booter and maybe do some non-gaming potentially. Maybe throw that in there. Non-gaming pickups for the for the
car boot. Yeah, it could do. Yeah, I mean, I did tout that before, but it kind of, I don't know. I think it's one of them things you have to try it, and if it flies, great. If it don't, you just knock it on the head and move on, don't you?
I think toys would go down well on your channel, Stuart.
Yeah, but I tried that before, Mark, and you get a mixed response sometimes.
Yeah.
Why do you?
Yeah.
Do you give a fuck, Stu? I mean, you've been here the longest.
No, not really. No. Oh no, I wouldn't give two fucks. No, there's no doubt about it. But but what you don't want to do is people, when you start out, people subscribe to you for a reason.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And when you start going off that, like if I started watching people, because I like pickup videos, I like seeing real people, I like seeing their reactions, their thoughts, and the process that go through it. I don't really watch gameplay videos. I know there's been a few people that they've got like semi-successful and they've just gone to doing fucking Call of Duty or Fortnite. Oh, Gareth's fucking gone up a level, hasn't he?
I've had a sex change, guys.
Well, you definitely got a bigger
Still
dick.
the same height, though. Couldn't you do nothing about that?
Oh, I think he's got taller.
It must be his heels. Well, I'd say though, with Stu's channel, I class your boot sale videos as I watch them more for the stories about the boots as what you've found. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I class them as like they're not predominantly retro gaming because a lot of the time you're picking up Wii shit and stuff to fodder in.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
I class that as, although it is about retro gaming.
It's a car boot video. Yeah,
yeah, and I watch loads of car boot videos, whatever anyone picks up, because obviously myself, I do the same. Whereas I'm probably less likely if you do a video saying like, you've completed your Mega Drive collection, you're just reeling through the games of what you've got on that. I'm less likely to watch on there, but I prefer seeing
because that's
boot
more
sales and CX stuff and that.
No, because those videos are more reference videos.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying there's something.
100%.
So I would say, like, although you're a retro gaming channel, you're not pigeonholed into that, because sometimes I watch yours and I find it funny the story of like the deal. When you're doing the deal with the trader at the boot sale. That's as much entertainment of what you've got, if you know what I mean.
Oh, if not more. Yeah, and the flip side to that is people that say, "Oh, why don't you video it?" But there's other people that do that.
Yeah,
and there's no point me reinventing the wheel. I don't know. I just don't want to be. I don't want to encroach on other people's areas either. Sometimes
on the doll by me, and they'll beat the shit out of me if they see me like fucking videoing them selling stuff at Booter.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, to be fair, Dane. We're all booters, me, you, the three of us especially. And I found Tootie purely a number of years ago, to be fair, probably 4 years ago, because of booting. And it just so happened you collect retro games, and that was the secondary thing. And I collected retro games, so that's what kept me there. But really, it was all about the boot sale shit. That's how I found you, man. And everyone else. Subsequently, if it wasn't for Tootie, there would be no channel, weirdly enough. That's the impact you've had, Stuart.
So that's who
Pete.
There's bushing now.
Pete, I think you should do a board game channel. Something like that.
I think you should include board games within the retro game.
Pete doesn't need to do a separate channel because his title is variety. He can do what the fuck he
Exactly.
likes.
It's what I was getting to before. When you don't pigeonhole your channel name, it gives you that flexibility to do what you know do with the stuff.
I think you can within a certain sphere. It's got to be if it's gaming, yes. Like Rich King Retro does a bit of board gaming. I'm quite happy to.
It's geekdom, isn't it?
Yeah, geek shit. Even comics.
Yeah.
So I think you draw the line where you go in movies and films, movies and music. Sorry.
Yes.
Films even. You know, leave that because that's too far away. If it's gaming, it's gaming, regardless of whether it's TV gaming or board gaming. Keep it with that. You know, you can throw a bit of your political belief in there if you like, but you're not going to do a politics fucking channel, you know, or just make it all about.
You daft twat. Listen, Stuart, do you actually collect retro toys then? Did you get negative response when
No, I didn't. All it is, Mark, look.
He picked up a load of masks and he should have sold them to me, the bastard.
Yeah, and it's just all it is. It's a means to an end. It's just another route to fund a collection. But I watch loads of toy channels. I could show you my subscriber list. There's loads of toy channels I subscribe to. But I've got an interest in that. But I haven't got the space to collect them anyway. But
right.
Yeah, I'm a kid of the fucking 80s, the 70s, the 80s. I love all that shit. I mean.
It's all retro. It's all linked.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's nice. And I'm guessing it works the other way. There's maybe people that collect toys that just like looking at the old games and think, I remember that. And you get a little bit of buzz off it.
It's a video games system in the end of console. It's a toy, isn't it? That's
exactly. It's a consumer. It's a consumer, product.
I mean, you have to look around my stupid fucking room. You got all action figures there and video games there.
Yeah.
It's all
see, I can see all the stuff behind you, Dana, and I watch people that do Action Force. And I remember my mate John. He had loads of Action Force. He had the whale. He never had the massive aircraft carrier. But all the little figures like Sideswipe and Snake Eyes and everything else like that, and they were fucking awesome. And there is part of me that thinks I could collect them because they're only small, but that just leads down another rabbit hole.
The thing is, you'd be good at that because it does. It totally correlates retro gaming, board games, and toys.
It's all nostalgia filled.
All nostalgia. I mean, looking at Tutti a couple of years ago. You subbed up, Pizarro's pieces, and that leads you down another path to Michael Mercy and all these other massive toy collectors. And you're going, fucking hell, I'll probably watch more of that shit than I do retro gaming.
I do.
It's unbelievable. I get it.
Yeah.
I think maybe you should think about that too, because you're there anyway, really, aren't you? You're there, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I say I don't collect it. I know its value and I know it's collectible, and I just utilise that to then back fund the games.
Yeah.
Let's make no bones about it. People do it the other way around.
Yeah, people buy Empire
people buy the games to buy the toys.
Yes, he buys gaming stuff to fund his toys.
Yeah. I know a lot of toy collectors that do that.
Nice chap as well. He is, to be fair. I've spoke to him a few times. He does the NEC, the toy fair there, because I was picking his ear about whether I'd do well selling games and stuff there.
It's amazing. You won't, by the way. The BP, I go probably twice a year to the BP Toy Festival at the NEC. There'll be one in the new year, and I've got to read similar to yours, Dan. Bits of toys here and there. You've seen the garage, and the missus has got a huge collection. And when you do that, you get
E.T. especially.
Mrs. buys you collection of toys.
Have we got enough batteries?
No, mate. Listen, man. If you're jamming and hanging like the man is slamming, you don't need no toys, bitches. But anyway,
the little toy man himself wanted to talk, Gareth.
Oh yeah, go on, Gareth.
What about? Go on.
I know you was going to say something earlier.
I want to go 10 minutes ago. I've been able to get a fucking word in.
He's the only one who's actually diverse. He does.
Can you say something then, you fucking northern bloody monkey? Go on.
I'm going to say about Stu, he has the ability to tell a story, though. He's got personality. And that's the difference, isn't it? I could go around a car boot and record the events that take place, but Stu has got the personality. and the ability to tell a story. It's
How does
engaging.
it feel, Gareth?
Oh, it feels amazing, mate.
What, is Willie in your mouth?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Incredible.
Is it salsa?
Is he in the man cave?
I've got a DBS to keep, Pete. Keep that in mind, mate. You've got a mask.
He's gone. Right, let's move on anyway.
Anyway, moving on.
Got some comments.
Oh, yeah, comments. Yes, Marcus.
Right, Gloria82 has said, surprisingly, my board game stuff does better than my console gaming stuff.
I've noticed that, yeah.
On YouTube. Oscar Del Monte said, this is a belter, this. How about picking up Eastern European tradesmen from outside your local Wix tootie and then reviewing the work they do on your house? YouTube.
I've got more chance of meeting people outside of Wix, to be fair.
Yeah, Dana's in that trade.
This AD Sneaker Freak said, Retro Plums, a channel that focuses on mid-20th century smut and continental biscuits. Readers' Wise 1972 annual whilst enjoying a Jacobean coconut whisk.
That sounds great.
Anzilla75 has said, booting in the UK is very different from the continent. I love your booting and CX videos. Don't know what that's aimed at. I'm guessing it's you, Stu.
That's everybody, isn't it? I think he's generalising.
No, we know. Gareth's upset about it. I'm not bothered.
Collecting can become an obsession, but it is very enjoyable. I started collecting toy cars as a kid. In my teens, I got into photography. And over the past 25 years, I've gathered a huge camera collection. That's Hanzilla75 again. And that's about it for now.
We caught up.
Yeah.
So the next one, I don't think it needs any instruction here, and I'm going to leave the parent to it. Does Dana have a phobia of little people?
Yes.
Like Carl
Yes,
Pilkington?
absolutely. I think you need to see someone about that.
It's not a phobia. I just get confused of like whether to call them midgets, dwarves, goblins, leprechauns. Does it change all the time of year? Are they elves? Do you become an elf this time of year?
Do you know I get all this grief and I'm taller than Tom Cruise?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't know Tom Cruise. I've never seen Tom
Cruise.
Cruise.
That small.
It can barely get on a bike. He's about 5'5". I'm 5'6".
He's not bigger than 5'5".
Promise you.
No way.
Promise
Maybe
you.
in some heels.
Honestly, do you know the band Fall Out Boy? You ever heard of Fall Out Boy?
Yeah.
He's the character out of Fall Out
the tallest
game.
member is my height. The shortest is 5'2". I'm not kidding.
But we're on about
the lead singer of Green Day, 5'4".
What's that got to do with anything? I've never heard you sing. I'm talking about just short people in
Give us a song.
like short people. You don't know when they stop being a child and a normal person. Like it's just hard and difficult. As a normal size human, it's difficult.
I really don't know what to say to that, Dana. I really don't.
Do you also come in full size also? Because at the moment you remind me of remember the Snap, Crackle and Pop?
Oh yeah.
You remind me of one of them. This is where I get a load of hate in the comments now, and I don't give a fuck. I hope all
you're doing all right so far, mate. No one's biting.
I think that was a little bit of a side discussion. Somewhat.
Yeah. Also, there's some short people who live by me with like massive glasses. They look like mole people, and they petrify me.
Right. So I think Dana definitely had a phobia of small people. So, right, here we go. This could be a bit. I suppose it depends. Retro markets or retro gaming markets, I suppose, are they good overall? Too many of them in terms of the frequency. Are they too consolidated into one region? Discuss.
Possibly also.
They do seem to be more of a northern thing than a southern thing or a Midlands thing.
Price
so I do think there needs to be more spaced out. I don't
there's
think
a big divide. I think there's a lot
down
more.
south.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Go on.
Sorry. I will say, I think there's a big divide. There's a lot up north, different people. Obviously, you've got retro events, replay who go all around the country. Down south, it's like anything down south. It's all in London, innit? If it don't happen in London, it don't fucking happen anywhere. And then literally there's just one in the Midlands. And I know that's going to change soon, but there is just one in the Midlands, and that's Revival. But you're right, there is a lot more up north. Maybe because there is more up north, because like you can pull Scotland into that. I know they do a play Glasgow and stuff like that.
No, Dave, that's not the question.
Yeah. What's the
We're not
question?
talking about expos. We're talking about markets.
Yeah, but there is markets at both of them, isn't there?
It's
No,
not a market,
no, they're traders. They're traders.
Yeah.
That's different. So when you think about a retro gaming market, you've got Andy Brown's.
Johnny Bristol.
Yeah, you've got Andy Brown's consortium, which is retro events, whatever it's called. And the only other one you've got that are doing markets is Steve Smith's, which is the Collectibles and the Super Games Fair. That's it. Those are the ones you described, and even it includes Craig. Craig's more of an expo guy. He's not a market guy. So there's a difference.
Just to clarify, Stu, I don't know, maybe a year or so, you interviewed some fucking miserable git.
That's Andy Brown.
Fuck me, what a fucking miserable cunt he is. I'll never give him a beat. Ever.
Stop holding back.
Just say what you think, Pete.
He's just a fucking moody cunt. Whereas Craig is a fucking lovely bloke.
Yeah.
Support Revival. Fuck these other cunts.
But
just got free pass.
But in the same vein, to be fair to Andy Brown, he's put one in Bristol. He's dropped the ones in London. I don't think there's anything north of the wall in Scotland. Yes, he has play expos, Glasgow and that, but they're not markets.
No.
They're costing you 20 odd quid to get in. You're playing games, you're doing whatever. They're not. It's not people stalling out.
It, but have a bit of enthusiasm for your fucking product, will you?
The thing is, right, so there is. I think there's a lot of them. Sorry, Peter. I think there's a lot of them about now. There seems to be like, I won't say it's saturated, but I know we have quite a few up and down the country over the year now. But I think in general they are a good thing overall. Because I'll tell you what, the last few I've been to, there's some right bargains to be had. There is definite big savings. So I don't care how many there is. If there's one local pops up, it's definitely still worth going to. If you've got the money, I know the next one I'm going to take a right wedge. And in respect to you, Mark, you've seen it from the other side as well now, haven't you? As well, yeah.
That's quite when you can. I know not everyone has that ability to do that, unfortunately, but when you do, I think sometimes you appreciate it a little bit more as well. Perhaps, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
In my opinion, I think there's too many. I've been to quite a few, and I've had some brilliant sales. Doncaster the first year was out unbelievable. It was Adam who was the original guy, and he was a really lovely guy, really smashing fella. Nothing but good things to say. And I bought a lot of stuff off him. But all I'm going to say, and I met Dana there as well and stuff, but all I was going to say about this, I reckon there should be one per region per year. So one in Scotland, one in the north of England, one in the Midlands, and one in London, and maybe even one down in like Exeter or something.
Yeah, but
say 5. Yeah, and then it doesn't flood the market. So the trouble is, they're flooding it. They're shilling it out.
Yeah, but
I'd sooner travel. I'd sooner travel fucking Scotland. Make a day of it. Make a thing of it. You know what I mean? That's the way that's my opinion. But I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. But go on.
Move at them though. If there's the good thing is about having a more than what you say. Like 3 years ago when I went to Leeds one, you literally couldn't move in there.
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. And I just give it up. At least now you've got a bit of room to walk around and see the stuff.
Crap for a trader though, mate.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, the people that are stalling out, the overheads for them in regards to the takings, it's a fine line. And look, I'm fucking barbarian at this. I don't do it professionally. Rob and myself. Rob's way more professional than I am. But there's some people there, and they're spending hundreds of pounds before they've even sold a game.
Yeah. I get
and
that.
if you're saying, don't worry, you're going to get. I know it sounds a lot, but it's probably not. You're going to get 400 people through the door. Ain't worth it.
No.
What I'd say is with Doncaster, 3 times a year is way too many. Because
I agree. I agree with you. I think they should do one. They should do 1 or 2 a year, and that's it, and leave it.
Yeah.
And what I'd say why? Because the first year I did Doncaster, okay, this year doing all 3 of them, I've probably made double the amount. Right, so double the amount of med, but I've paid for 3 lots of tables
and your fuel.
And my fuel. So really, I'm probably not as well off as the first time I did. I agree with Pete. I think it should be took on the road. Really, I think there should be 1 a year in Doncaster, maybe 2 because it was the original one. Then take 1 down to Bristol, and what's it called? Just pinging around the country. Take 1 over to Ipswich Way, stuff like that. Hit different markets, different sellers, different
regions.
Yeah. I agree with Pete on that.
Expand a bit, but why isn't there a big one in Scotland? I mean, for God's sake, what a prime opportunity, you know?
So the thing is, all we've said there is we've said it's better for the seller to have less, or better for the buyer to have more.
Well, you see, it goes in roundabouts. It's supply and demand, Mark.
Yeah.
So if the demand's there, the supply's there, but they're not making no money.
Yeah.
It's just, what's the point? People are going to get tired. And I went to Bristol fairly recently. Well, no, a few months ago in the summer, and I didn't think it was very good in the sense that it was just pure traders. There wasn't the guy there selling the games, but in Leeds in January, there was the guy there selling the games. In Doncaster, last year there was fucking a few people just selling out. Just stalling out and doing their bit.
The first one was the best event I've done of the year.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That's down to demand, though, isn't it, Dana? That's down to the fact it was the first one.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, I think a little bit, Gareth, as well. I think, like I say, the last Doncaster one and the last Bristol one. I think Sundays I don't think Sundays do well.
No.
And that's the problem. It's the timing of these events. Now, I'm not an events manager, and I briefly speak to Andy and Elliot who do these things, and they can get what they can get essentially. But I think the timing is always the key because there's no point doing it in the middle of the month because no one's got any fucking money. So you've got to try and drop it at the right time, and then you've got to tie that into the right time of the year as well. Like in the summer, I did as well, the other week as I did in the summer, which is not bad. But like Dana says, it's nowhere near when they first did Doncaster or the second time we did Doncaster. No, it's just swings and roundabouts, and some things will do well and some things won't.
I think I did Doncaster the first time you ever sold there. Yeah. And literally, when they opened them doors, every row was 4 deep of people, like they just subverts. That doesn't happen no more.
No.
You've got the early birds.
Yeah.
And even now, the thing is, he's having 3 at Doncaster, right? People think, I can't make that one. Yeah. I'll get next one.
Yeah.
Which is no good. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some people who you will see at every event buying up and down this country.
Yeah.
And they will go wherever. That's why I think it should go on the road because your hardcore buyers who are after stuff will go. They'll go.
I do like what Pete said as well. I think if you do push it to sort of the 4 corners, if you like, then it's worth it. It might be worth making a weekend of it,
Yeah.
But I don't know. And the problem you've got with that, though, to compound it, is you've not got a single sole person that's doing this. There's multiple smaller ones that are springing up. The 2 main ones is obviously Andy Brown and Steve Smith, in the sort of Midlandsy area, or if you got all the northern side of it. I mean, I've never even been to Nerg, right? Never been to it. I know Chris Richardson's trying to get one going in Hull and stuff like that. So, I don't know. There's a few that we know of, Dana, that we'd probably want to discuss here.
Yeah.
They don't work, right? And you got to be careful, like I say, in terms of like sort of saying, "Oh, we'll go and fucking stand up in Ipswich."
Right. I'll put it out there. Me and Ant Harper were looking to set up our own event, but literally, me and Ant talked about this in the summer. You don't mind me talking about it, but literally, within a week of us sorting out venues and that, 2 or 3 other people are already trying to start up their own, and it's just not. It won't be financially viable to do. And we got a good venue as well because I knew the guy, and I put Ant in touch with it. But I think Replay are looking to come to Birmingham. I think Craig's looking to do more of a market sort of thing. And also there's another couple of little independent ones that have popped up, and we're just like, you know what? It'd be just too hard to get off the ground,
And again, on a side note, going back to what we've discussed a couple of questions ago in terms of geekdom and stuff, there's a lot more Comic-Cons. Yeah. And I've seen Comic-Con videos, and there's a lot more fucking video game sellers at Comic-Cons than there is than we would expect.
There is. There were quite a lot of Manchester.
There you go.
Was the first time I've ever been to a Comic-Con.
Well,
and I was surprised actually with the amount of vendors and the amount of retro game traders.
I was going to say he wasn't at Doncaster. He was at Birmingham Comic-Con.
Really?
Because the football was bigger.
He was at Birmingham Comic-Con when he was at Revival because he sent his wife to do Revival.
Sorry, yes, that's it. Yeah.
The real bargains to be had. Well, earlier I mentioned the BP toy fairs, the Barry Potter toy fairs. Now, I've been there and picked up shitload of toys and also amazing value games. We're talking Splatterhouse 2 complete on the Mega Drive for the tenner.
Where were that?
The BP toy fairs. But the thing is, Mark, they're on up and down the land, and they're on regularly. And there's a lot of Hornby, and there's a few traders there. You've got the odd computer game. Out of 4, the Game Boy Pokemon games. I think there's 5 on the Game Boy. For the 5 games, it was, I think, 20 quid. And you can come away at a big saw. I've said this before in previous streams. They are outstanding. I think if we thought about, I'm definitely going to go at Christmas if anyone wants to go.
It's Boxing Day, isn't it?
It will be. In fact, I'm not going Boxing Day. It's the Villa QPR. No, that's on New Year's Day. Boxing Day, yes, it is on.
Boxing Day, I know it is. I watch Tom.
If you want to, I haven't seen him in a bit, mate. If you want to, I'm there, mate. If it's Boxing Day, I'm there.
Where's it at?
NEC. 2 quid, I think.
I'm on for that. I've got nothing to do.
It's really good. You'll come away with shitloads of stuff that you don't even want.
Okay, let's go. Mark, any questions? Any answers?
Yeah, there is. So Dylan Craven said, "I've only started going to these events in the last year. I'm going to try and make it to Doncaster next year. I'd prefer going for the social side more than the buying games," which is fair comment.
Good comment.
And then get to Berry Dickhead.
Retro perspective. I was at Collectibles at Leeds last week. It was really dead. I think people burnt out a bit on them and just. I thought if it's
Collectibles is more toys though, not to get confused with games.
Oh, maybe. Glorunter 82 clearly agrees with me slightly on it. As a punter, the more the better. I work a lot of weekends and miss a lot, so always good to get to when I'm actually off for.
Yeah.
Hanzilla 75. I don't know what it is. But Stuart, are you talking about scalpers now or trader collectors selling excess from their collection and because they like the hobby?
No
difference. It's a bit of both.
No difference.
Yeah, it's a bit of both.
They're genuine businesses who have stalls up around the country.
Yeah.
A lot of them, in fact, are.
The best deals are to be had for people. There's a guy there, excuse me. There's a guy at Doncaster, and I pointed a few lads to him, Big Daddy C, Matt Suffolk Retro, and he basically had got like 30 games short of the full Master System collection, and he had lost interest, and he was selling it off, and he just literally had a stall selling off his Master System stuff. So it's 50, I think this is where I agree with Pete a little bit, and when they sort of announced Bristol, because I thought it was a good idea, because what you'll get is these pockets of people that are willing to travel maybe a few, half an hour, an hour and a half, They're not going to travel 4 hours into the Midlands or to Bristol, and you might get them small people that might want to thin out or get rid of a collection.
Yeah.
So
there's clearly some people on here that feel that there's not any decent sized events near them, so such as like Liverpool, and then who's this guy down here, Sega Zombie, needing a gaming market in the east, as in
that's Ipswich.
East Anglia.
Yeah, that's Ipswich. That's Scott. That's Sega Zombie, Scott Brand.
Yeah, Norwich would be great cities to have a market or event at.
Yeah. No, I say Pete's got a point then, and Dana in terms of moving it around the country, but you've not got a single person that controls it all. So you know,
yeah,
you might end up having like, you know, segregated pockets of people that they're just going to stand up their own little areas, their own events in those.
I mean, let's face it though, it doesn't matter where we are in the country. There's surely going to be equal amounts of retro gamers, isn't there? It's just the fact that this tour or these companies that are running these events choose these sort of, I don't know, more centralised areas to draw the biggest crowds.
Well, it's not that, because don't forget, it's cost. It's cost. If you look at anything near London, it's cost prohibitive.
It's not just that Andy Brown's based up Blackpool, so a lot of his events up there. Yeah. Steve Smith Leeds, he lives in Leeds, so they're doing their hometowns really, which is why me and Ant was going to do it, and we were looking at just doing the Midlands area, like, you know.
But it is the cost, Dana, because when I spoke to Andy, you're talking £500,000 to rent a space before you've earned anything.
Genau.
Yeah, exactly. That's in London, and that's, you know, it's like, it's just cost prohibitive. It's just stupid.
Yeah,
you wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. Right. Anyway. Oh God, another stupid question. I don't know who's done this one. I'll have to read it out. Does Tootie, me, work for CEX Marketing on the side?
That was my question, I think.
No.
We've all asked that question, Stu.
You're CEO, you don't work for marketing, you're the CEO. I know, because obviously you're answering questions in Retro Realm all the time.
Because it's just stupid people that don't know how to use it.
Yeah, no.
That's what it is. Right, this could be a long one. Moving on. Desert Island game. One game. One machine.
Boring as fuck. Have we not had this on the first one?
I don't know. I'm just reading them out.
Who asked this?
Probably Peaks is not here.
No, it might be me, this.
Oh, fucking might have known. Fucking northerner.
Fuck off.
Answer them.
Operation Wolf.
What, forever?
Oh, no, can you choose arcade?
Yeah, but it's one game, one system forever. That's your life on the desert island.
Wolf arcade machine on a desert island. That's it, obviously, if it had a power supply.
Well, I think that would make it null and void if we didn't.
That'd be mine.
Mine would be World of Warcraft on the PC because it never ends. It's infinite.
I'd have Gauntlet Arcade.
I've got the only plug. Where you're going to plug yours in?
Up your ass.
In the man cave.
The man cave will have The Last of Us. We said game, Gareth, not a movie.
I'll surprise you. Final Fantasy VII, PlayStation 1.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
If I had to pick, yeah, there you go.
Over The Last of Us?
Yes.
Well,
what do you like about that game so much, Gareth?
Say again, sorry.
What do you like about that game so much?
It's mainly nostalgia driven, but it's one of my favourite games of all time. There's a lot of reasons, mate. I could drone on for hours about that game, but if I had to pick one, it'd be that game. And it's a big game as well.
Okay.
I love that game. Because I bought a PlayStation specifically to play that after Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo. And the whole Ares thing, all the magazines I bought and trawled through, or you can resurrect her. Spoiler alert.
It was meant to be on the N64, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pete, Desert Island game, one game, one system.
I've got to be honest, and it's a more modern one. Square Enix. I mean, I'm getting into my RPGs big, especially after enjoying so much Octopath Traveler.
Oh yeah.
I think it's fucking outstanding. It's the best game I've played in donkey's years. I'm absolutely hooked.
What's so good about it, Pete?
I adore it. It's beautiful.
Right.
On the Switch, I mean, and it's got me back into RPGs after a bit of a hiatus.
Good.
You know, and to be honest, that's where my real gaming is. RPGs is my shit. And to be honest, next year I'm looking at only doing RPGs, man. You know, I've got enough action games to last me a bloody lifetime. From now on, it's RPGs, and that is it. Amazing.
You said you was playing The Last of Us to me.
Yeah, what about The Last of Us 2, Pete?
I didn't have to play it. I just watched the video, man. You know what I mean? It's not RPGs. It's just an interactive movie, as I've always said.
How far into it are you? That Octopath?
I've got
The option screen.
I've got all of the I've got all the 8 characters now. I know this sounds petty or like pathetic for a real gamer, but I'm maybe 30 odd hours in, but I've died a lot. You know what I mean? I'm 30 hours, as in on screen 30 hours, but probably about 100 hours in.
But are you doing what I would do, Pete? Are you literally like exploring everything, or are you just blasting through the story?
I'm exploring the bloody lot.
That's how I play them.
Too enjoyable, Stuart, man.
Yes.
You've got to explore every area.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
I agree. Right, next one. When and if you look around your room or collection, what item or items always make you smile? Or give you a warm, fuzzy feeling, I suppose. I don't know. I'm guessing that's what it means.
Brilliant.
Dennis is a bowling ball, the bowling pin. With a bottle of love next to it.
Who's that?
I don't know. It's just a question. I've just got it written down.
Now I'm having a look at Gareth's picture. I think it's Oliver Reed.
Nolan North.
What's so good about that?
I don't know. He's an actor, I think, in a film.
But why would you have him framed? I don't get it.
I know. Actually,
Gareth,
the thing I like the most about my room that makes me smile, I've only added it recently. I got it from Revival. And it's this shitty little game and watch thing. I think I showed it you, Stuart.
You
Revival.
did, mate. Yeah, you got some nostalgia for that.
Mate, massively. It's Super Mario Brothers game.
Cool.
I had that as a kid. And yeah, it's a game and watch.
Oh, brilliant.
Everyone in my family used to play this. Well, other than my mum, because she's fucking useless and she doesn't like games. But my dad, me, my brother, and like, when we, you know, when you used to go to like a social club or a pub as a kid and watch a singer destroy every song ever made.
Yeah.
I used to take this with me and fucking play it for hours on end.
I've got the only one I've got is a Zelda. I've got Zelda.
Have you, Mark?
Yeah, but it's a bit knackered. It's a bit.
And the other one as well is this one that I picked up. I showed Stu earlier. This one as well. I used to play that. We used to be really competitive about getting scores on them 2 games at home. Me, my brother, and my dad. So yeah, they give me a warm feeling inside and remind me of my childhood of disappointment. Next,
mine's the good old Specky Plus 2A, because again, it's just nostalgia. Never even switch it on anymore, to be honest. But it's just there. It just brings back so many decent memories, to be honest.
I must admit, whenever I make a single purchase, it's usually for something for nostalgia. Everything else I usually buy in bundles and don't really have many feelings for. But if there's one thing I want, I will just buy that thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it should be about, really, if we're all being honest. I mean, all right, like with Stuart, he's trying to, finish collections, but the main sort of drive of a collection for our age group So, well, certainly mine is. Is mainly nostalgia. It is. Definitely a Mega Drive. Now, that's why stuff's fallen by the wayside, where I finally realised that PS2, I didn't have a nostalgic connection to it. Hence why I moved over now. Atari ST, big nostalgia to that. And Spectrum. Really, technically, if anything, I should be collecting Master System, but I've
Master System. What system is that?
It's the Master System.
Master System. The Master System. Where was that? Where was that system released? The fucking Royal House or something?
It wasn't Northern, I'll tell you that.
I say, William, pass me over the Master System, will you, boy? What do you mean we're playing Alex Kidd? God, I sound like him with the app I do then. I'm
glad you didn't say Alex the Kid. Would have punched you through the screen.
Come on, Gareth, other than your gay picture, what gives you a little warm, fuzzy feeling about the man's cave?
There's a number of games and systems, to be honest. I'd say most of it. But again, it's very nostalgia driven. It's just most of it takes me back to the 90s. So I'd say most of it.
Stuart, there's got to be one thing in your collection. One thing.
I'd probably concur with Mark a little bit. If I was to look at a collection or a wall or whatever, it would probably be the Master System. Because I had a lot of fun memories with all that. Hey, the Master System.
Same as the Master System.
Yes.
You, Oscar.
But I'm in a different position. See, I don't really get. It sounds daft, but I don't really get to see all my games, as you can sort of see here. They're all covered up. So, at some point, hopefully next year, I'll have a room that's devoid of light, and everything will be on display, and then I can peruse the stuff. But when if I think rather than looking, if I think about the stuff that I've got, one of the systems that has always been the holy grail and always will be is the PC Engine GOR. That does make me feel like, yeah, I've got that. I'm happy. But as a collection, it would be the Master System. That holds more than most.
Peter, anything you've not flogged on that makes you feel happy?
Well, this Kekistani flag is pretty serious. However, other than that, you know,
He's getting his cock out.
the collection I've flogged a bit on and shit, but there's one in particular.
It's like challenge Annika. This is where the fuck are you doing?
Shit? There's some games there.
Put a light on.
Can you see anything?
No.
Right.
Put a light on, dickhead.
There's some good games there. The light is there, dickhead. Right, yeah. We've got some games, right? But the better stuff is here, down here, and it's CD 32.
Nice.
And on and on and on it goes. But some particular fucking good ones out of this lot. I mean, Mike helped me get that IK Plus. That's a big one. But there's one or two other ones. If you just give me 2 seconds to shield bloody through. Go through. Where's some good ones here?
While Pete's showing you that, I'll tell you one thing that makes me happy as well.
Cannon
Because
fodder.
I know Mark wants it.
That's
And
an
fucking
amazing
Steve,
bloody
buddy.
fodder. Cannon fodder.
Bastard.
Have I got any bloody expensive ones? Dangerous Streets.
Is that a Transformers picture on your wall, Pete?
Yes, mate. Yeah. Oh, they are. There's a good one. Last Ninja 3 on the CD 32. But anyway, I don't know. I'll go through it sometime with some. I've got some decent stuff still kicking about.
Yeah. Would you ever do like a full collection video, Pete? You know, just something to show us more of what you've got.
I've
Fucking hell.
I'd like to, mate, but it's all you've been here, and you know it's sort of everywhere.
Yeah.
In nooks and crannies and stuff, and I reckon I've gotten rid in the past year of about maybe 500 or 600 games, and I've really narrowed the focus, if you like. And next year, I'm kind of liking the idea of going Mega Drive, Master System, Amiga 500, and CD32, and just JRPGs. That might be the thing.
Yeah.
Might be the whole RPG thing now, to be honest.
The only problem with RPGs is you need a serious amount of time, I think, to play them properly. And I just don't
my
have
friend.
time.
By default, you're looking at about 100 hours, aren't you, per game?
But the enjoyment, you see, and you've got to use your brain as well. You know, when you're trying to, battle 3 fucking toads and a bloody, big fucking bear, you've got to be able to use the right equipment and the right tools and so on and so forth, and the right attacks and defense and parrying attacks. I think it's good. I think it's good for mental agility.
Okay. Right.
Any comments, Mark?
I'll read the some questions and answers out from a couple from the previous question that I missed. So it was the Desert Island question. Dylan Craven had said Advance Wars 2 on the GBA and Fire Emblem Awakening on 3DS. I don't know them two.
It's one game. Fucking choose, Dylan.
Glorian82 has said maybe Elder Scrolls or Fallout. One or the other.
Fallout.
Retro Perspective said Star Ocean 3. That's another one I don't know, actually. What's that on? PS3, would it be? No? Don't know that one. Christopher 78, it's XCOM Enemy Unknown. Dylan Craven's having a dig at Pete saying RPGs are for geeks only. Right, so then we go on to the question we've just had. Ed Sneaker Freak. They were mentioning your Game & Watch, Dana. He says he's got, so it's just jumped down, Super Mario Brothers. He's also got Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. I think I had Donkey Kong Jr. as well when I were a kid. I think that was is that the brown one?
Yeah, does it fold out as well? One of them folds like that.
I'm sure I had one of them when I was a kid. The brown. I remember it being brown.
Was it brown?
Was it brown?
This guy's asked this question twice, so he's really keen for us to answer this. Hanzilla75 saying, "Hey guys, is there a game system any of you would only collect 10 games for? Games that you would actually play?" I ask this because it's my goal for the PS4.
Master System, but that's only because I was late to the party.
A lot better.
Only because I was late to the party.
Yeah. Jumping forward again to the question, Glorian82 had said on about what makes him smile in his room. Just seeing my games room makes me smile. Now I have one. Fair enough. Yeah. Some of my nice collector statues. See, that's something. These with the collector's editions with statues.
Yeah,
I don't really get that thing.
well, I do.
I know you're into it, aren't you? I just
Look at that. Really,
Yeah,
really
that's a good
detailed
one.
Nathan
Who's
Drake.
that?
Nathan Drake on Uncharted 4. It's amazing. Really
Well,
detailed.
yeah, look at all the good things you can do with it. Beat the burglars to death and shit like that.
That'll break it.
Is it hollow? I bet it's plastic, innit?
Well, it's obviously plastic.
Yes, polyurethane.
Nice.
What do you call it? Like a nylon-y thing in it, isn't it?
I know Mr. Bads is really into them as well. Apparently collecting all figures and stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, I just want to say a big thank you for the £20 from Mr. Bads,
Yeah, good win with that.
which has funded 2 games that were sorted from CEX.
Are you showing them tonight? Are you telling us, or are you waiting?
They might come tomorrow. It might be Monday.
Okay.
It'll be in another pickups video.
Yeah, see, I don't get the whole statue. I do, but I don't. I think you need to have a massive space to really appreciate those huge collector box edition things.
Cabinet.
I mean, they're just getting fucking stupid, aren't they? I mean, I've seen. I can't remember. Lewis had some like not the bloody last of us again. Assassin's Creed. It's got some big fucking clock thing or something. Like a massive box, and then the holster had some sort of aircraft carrier from like Call of Duty 4 or something.
Yeah,
it's a big spaceship thing. It's like you need a whole house. You literally need a whole fucking floor of a house to display them properly.
See, for me, I have to be massively passionate about the game to get a statue or a special edition. I'd have to be absolutely fucking crackers mad about that particular game. It's not often I buy that kind of thing because they are expensive, aren't they? The Uncharted statue, I got half price. It was the Libertalia edition. It originally were about 140 quid. I think I got it for about 60. So it were a decent price, and that was from the game.
Going off topic a little bit, and it's not. I don't think it's a question anyway. But you just reminded me there, Gareth. Again, talk about poor Mr. Bads, and I don't know. People may agree, disagree, but collector's editions now don't have the fucking game. What the fuck is all that about?
Which I find a bit strange. It must be a new phenomenon.
Here's a fucking toolbox, whatever you call it, with all manner of shit in it. But by the way, there's actually no game in it, and it's 170 quid.
That makes no sense.
That's ridiculous. That's totally ridiculous, isn't it?
I hear what you're saying, and you're right. I mean, if you go into game in January, you'll be able to get a lot of PS4 and Xbox One special editions, half price.
But Pete, by definition, though, that's not, to me, that's not a special edition. It's not a collector's edition. That's a fucking merch box.
No, I'd agree. I agree with you, Stuart. There's about, say, 30% that actually have the game. A lot of them don't. And you're right. They're
hundreds of pounds.
When did that
the only
kick in then?
difference is with Amiibos. So with Nintendo, if you're going to buy Amiibos, they actually do something to enhance the game. So I think that's where the difference is, isn't it? Like Nintendo, again, are really smart about their choices with merchandise. So they go, right.
But you can't say, here's Red Dead Redemption 2, collector's edition, special edition, whatever we're going to call it, and there's no fucking game in it.
No.
If you're a mum buying at Christmas and you want to treat your kid, you're going to think it's got everything in it.
Absolutely.
And it's not, and it's going to be fucking 50% off in the January sales without question, because there's that many of them. They produce that many of these so-called limited edition pieces.
It's not guaranteed though, Pete. It's not guaranteed. Like the Resident Evil 2 remake coming out in January is sold out at the moment. And I couldn't justify spending 250 quid on a fucking game, limited edition.
What do you get for that, Gareth?
Well, you get a statue, you get emblems, there's a couple of keys, a couple of bits, but it's not worth 240, 250 quid. You just can't justify it. I can go on holiday for twice that price for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a great deal of money, isn't it?
Did you see that video that Paul did with the Fallout helmet?
I did, yeah.
What a pile of shit that is, isn't it? Come on.
Yeah. Well, this is it. And I think, £120 not a bad price if you're getting a lot for it. But when you go over 200 quid for a bloody game, special edition, like I say, it's double that price. You've got a holiday of a lifetime almost. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but let's not get it twisted here. Like Tutti and like some others, not myself included in this, although I was there once. Paul is a mega collector. All right.
Yeah.
He's not. Tutti and Paul are in a different league to a lot of us other guys who are maybe more casual about it. Although in comparison to others, we're kind of, hoarders or whatever. But Paul he will get that because he sees value in it, and I get that. I completely appreciate it. If I had the money disposable, I have been the same, and I'd be the same again. I get it.
Yeah.
Is that
It's
a
almost
new
like
gratification?
don't buy a current gen game on release either.
No.
Pointless.
Nintendo again. Do buy a game on release because it will retain
Hold
its
its
value.
value. Yeah. Or go up.
Without a fucking doubt, mate. I bought Mario Party, whatever the hell it is, Switch, and I put it on the and it's okay, it's enjoyable enough. But I know full well that it's going to retain its all my Switch collection will.
Yeah, it won't lose any money.
Without a fucking doubt.
There's one talked about again. We're going to move on in a minute, but just want to make this point. There's a chap I watch, Jurassic Junkie Tom. If you don't watch Jurassic Junkie, subscribe. He's been at this longer than I have. He's been off the boil a little bit, but he does these like little rant videos. He used to a segment called the Friday Night Rant. So he's doing a similar sort of thing, but he mentioned about a collector's edition. I can't remember what it was now, but it was sold as you got like a cloth bag with whatever collector's edition it was, and when it come through, it was like a fucking nylon cheap bag, and a lot of people just accepted it, and it just made me think. I just thought this is fucking getting stupid, and he's basically telling people to complain, because we're not as well. I'm guessing 90% of us are English British. We're not very good at complaining too well. And he was sort of saying you need to complain. And I think he did a video on The Walking Dead, because obviously Telltale Games have gone to the wall, haven't they? And they were still trying to sell the whole 3-season pass when season 3 hadn't even been confirmed. They're still charging you full price. But yeah, Jurassic Junkie, I mean, is about probably at 10,000 subs. But he's a really nice guy, Tom.
He's old school, man. I remember him from a long time ago. Still, Stu.
Right, anyway, moving on. Next question. Favorite gaming inspired movie, be it a guilty pleasure or not? Is this a Gareth one? It sounds like a Gareth one.
I think it was my question, but I'm finding it hard to answer it.
The Last of Us.
It's one of the same in it then.
Yeah.
Is that the Dyke edition or the non-Dyke edition?
Do you know what? I absolutely loved the first Tomb Raider movie. And when I first saw it, I thought it was fantastic.
I didn't find anything wrong with that either.
No, I enjoyed it. I really did. And as a Tomb Raider fan, there was a lot in that movie that was like, oh my God, that is Lara. That's what Lara would do, or Lara would sound like.
See, I even like, not to cut you off, I even like the Resident Evil movies as well.
Yeah, I like the Resident movies. Good.
Milano Jovovich, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they're not actually like true to the games, but there's some references there.
The first one's brilliant.
Yeah.
What about Street Fighter?
Oh, I knew that was coming up. Fucking terrible.
The first Mortal Kombat's not bad. The first Mortal Kombat one's not bad. The second's shit.
See, it's cheesy, but I actually really loved the first Mortal Kombat. I thought
the first one's all right.
You were awesome.
Who's
in it? Who's in
the
that?
desert? The one I posted in the WhatsApp group a few weeks ago. It came from the desert or something like that. It's an Amiga game.
Yeah.
But that's not the movie come out before that. That's 1940s B movies. That's what inspired that game.
That Amiga game is based on Them, a film called Them. This film is based on the Amiga game.
Oh God! All right. So yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's
shit, but it's all right. I like pixels. Shoot me down. I like pixels. It's a fun little film.
Fucking terrible.
Fuck you. You watched Last of Us.
What do you
fucking
know,
that
mate?
chap who plays
What do
Paul
you know?
Blart,
The most
who
celebrated
plays
game in
Martha?
history.
Listen, Goblin, shut the fuck up. Go and sit back on your fucking toadstool while I'm talking, yeah. I like the guy who plays Paul Blart. I find him funny. So that's why I like pixels as well. Anyone like Mario Brothers?
I'm a big fan of Bob Hoskins.
And I am, until he did that film.
That diatribe he gives, in the long Good Friday, even.
That's not in Mario Brothers, though. That's in the Long Good Friday, the movie. For
All
anyone
right, well, forgetting about the thing is, it's Bob Hoskins, man. If you got Bob Hoskins in your movie, it's going to be good. So
No,
for
it's
that,
not.
not the Six Mario Brothers, no.
okay, my favourites. In Old Boy. Anyone seen Old Boy?
Oh, boy.
Pete, it's just gaming-inspired movies, not your favourite fucking movies.
No, Old Boy, gaming inspired. If you allow me to continue, there's an entire scene in there which is a tracking shot that is like a side-scrolling beat 'em up. Old Boy, the original, not the Spike Lee remake, the OG one. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but that's not inspired. That's movie. That's gaming-esque, isn't it?
Specifically inspired. The director said it's specifically inspired by scrolling beat 'em up games.
What about Doom? Anyone see the Doom film with Rocky and that shit?
No.
I've not seen it actually.
I'm just thinking of films that are game related. I just thought of another one. It's gone.
There's been
Oh,
Assassin's Creed, hasn't there, as well?
yeah, I don't like them games though, so I probably won't watch the film.
Anyone watch the Double Dragon movie? Martin
Fucking hell, yes, I remember that.
We may have a visitor. We have a special guest turning up.
Is it Addy Sneaker Freak?
Sneaker Freak.
Hey, nice top.
All right,
Man.
Steve.
Hi guys, how you going? All right?
Yeah, good man.
Do you want some comments, Stuart?
Yeah, go on, Mark. Hit us.
Sega Zombie, the first 3 Resident Evil films, guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat. Sega, I enjoyed Pixels too.
What about Wizard?
There's a new one.
That's the best. A good call.
It came from the Desert movie. It sucks. The game is great though. Christopher 78, Wreck-It Ralph.
All right.
That's a kids' movie, yeah. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Bit of fun.
Let's have a
I
look.
can't believe we forgot Wizard.
Wizard, man.
No, Wizard, man.
But that's not inspired by a game. That's
No,
based
it
on
isn't.
game.
No, you're right. What about Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within? What's that?
Fucking terrible. That's what it is.
So, is that one of the anime movies, or is it
Yeah.
CGI sort of thing bullshit?
Cost a fortune and it bombed.
Has the last Starfighter been mentioned?
Oh shit! You're talking about anime. What about Street Fighter 2, the animated fucking movie, baby?
You're probably the only person who's watched it.
No, it's good, that is.
The video from fucking 94.
Yeah, the manga.
That is amazing, honestly. Street Fighter 2.
I think I've got it on VHS. I think I got it on DVD. Sorry, I think I got it on DVD somewhere.
It is
I'm not
brilliant.
into anime, so.
It's fucking brilliant.
Anime is not my thing, though, so I might. Oh,
Give it a go, Dane. You know.
Oh no, it's brilliant.
trying
Okay.
new things.
What do you reckon, Mark? What about you, brother? What are you saying about all this shit?
It goes way back for me, does anime, mate. Really way back.
Hentai.
Fucking.
Like Paul Pear when he put tuppence in the machine and wound it round.
I'm not that fucking old. I am actually that old.
Well, we're talking Venus Wars and Akira.
Akira.
What's
It's
Doji?
a star.
What
That
film?
Fist of the North Star.
Yeah!
That's in the man cave, that is.
Awesome.
He gets twisted in the North Star.
Brown Star.
The fist goes into the man cave.
The
What do you
Dwarf
reckon
Star.
about that Battle Angel Alita that they've got
Yeah,
going?
I had all them as well. I had all them as well, Pete. I bought them from HMV.
Have you still got them, Stu?
No, I fucking sold them, mate.
Did you ever did you ever watch Urotsuki
I just said
Doji?
you watch Kadoji, yeah?
Urotsuki Doji and Legend of the Overfiend, the
Fiend,
second
yeah.
one. And the third and the fourth.
Well, you know, Fist of the North Star, the actual movie that we got, it was spliced from the whole series.
Yeah.
So it never really made any sense. It's just brutally violent. That's all.
Oh,
it
Yeah,
was.
exactly.
They did make a theatrical release in 1986. Prior to that, in 1984, they had a long series,
Mm.
which was, I don't know, maybe 40 episodes. I've got them all, mate, including the new Fist of the North Star and Fist of the North Star, the stories. The Legend of Yuria is the best out of the lot. I recommend you all put on YouTube after this stream.
Right, let's look at on the head then.
The Legend of
Look,
Yuria.
look at.
Or the Legend of Ray.
Mark, have we got any comments?
Uh,
Derogatory or otherwise?
bear with.
Kung Fury, was that gaming related really a bit? Yeah.
Remade. That's a poor effort, Dana. Try again.
I'm just thinking of other ones other than you talking about fucking cartoons.
Listen,
Japanese
man, the
cartoons.
anime is the cornerstone of this metropolitan utopia.
Get back on the beer, mate.
Everybody used to say, "Can you stop watching those silly cartoons all the time?" I've been watching Akira again and again and again.
Oh, Akira is awesome.
Yo, Tokyo is about.
Did you watch this subtitle? Did you watch the dub version, Pete? Pete,
Sydney Steve said, King Kong documentary, does that count?
King of Kong.
75 had said,
King Kong. King of Kong.
Into a movie. That's good.
Baby, rock on.
Does it fuck you, ginger cunt?
Oh, I can't say that.
Tony, we sorted that out soon.
Oh,
The Yakuza series also created a B-movie spin-off.
What was that, Mark?
The Yakuza series also created a B-movie spin-off. Didn't know that.
Oh. Where's Hitman?
Don't know.
Hitman was a game, a movie, weren't it? Hitman.
Yeah, it was actually, yeah.
That was shit and all.
Need for Speed was as well. Again, also shit.
and what was the other one? Prince of Persia, also shit.
Oh, Jake Gyllenhaal, weren't it, or something?
Yeah, with long hair.
I don't know. See, stuff like that, I can just take it as on face value and watch it as a popcorn movie and move on, like.
That's about it for comments.
Anything more?
We're going to
Okay.
squeeze one more question in.
Yeah, more questionings. Here we go. Do you play games? And I've put in brackets here video because obviously it could be taken either way and I've got a filthy mind. With your better half. So do you play video games with your better half?
Nah, it doesn't fucking head in.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm lucky in this regard. Lucy really likes games, especially
Video games, Gareth.
That's what I mean. I'm
okay, right, yeah.
Likes watching The Last of Us.
We were playing. We were playing Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War together, which was a lot of fun. And she likes doing all the puzzles. I do all the action. So yeah, it's a lot of fun playing games together.
Does she like Puyo Puyo Pop?
It's a fucking great game. On the PS2.
It's like Mr. Driller.
It's a fucking great game. Fact.
Oh,
I'll leave that.
What was that, Pete?
Puyo Pop is on the PS2. So it's a great game. So you're talking about, cooperative games or versus games. I play that all the time with the missus, especially Puyo Tetris on the Switch. I play any puzzle game with her regularly, at least a couple of times a week. Play board games together. That's what we do, man. Play board games, play fucking video games. She's banging to World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Was massively upset, not so much now, but she's a much better at the games than me.
The only time I've done gaming with Mrs. I put SNES Mini on, and she kicked me ass at Mario Land, so that's never going to fucking happen again.
I thought you were going to say Twister, Mark. I thought you were going to say Twister.
You should play a versus game, man. You know what I mean? Put it on and play something where you can, battle each other. Like Street Fighter's always good. Anything, any proper two-player versus game is good fun.
Yeah, it is, mate. You're right.
You should fucking bring them into it, man. Don't leave them out. Make them do it. No, what do you mean you ain't fucking playing? I'm tired. No, fucking play, bitch. Here's the fucking controller. Right? And then they end up beating you, and they end up saying, Can we play again now? I'm going to sleep now. Ta-ra.
Any questions, Mark? Probably not.
Right. What?
Comments.
Comments, questions.
Sega Zombie Rampage. Is that what it means?
It's a recent one, isn't it?
cool.
Glory Hunter 82. Yeah, when we have time. It's a grind, though. Raz
It's grinding.
I've gotten 0. Oh, I don't know. I've gotten 0 since I've arrived. Oh, I think he's literally just come on. Hello, guys. Right.
Who's that?
78. Tetris on the barcade machine with the girlfriend. Take that anywhere you like. Lol. Calling all
Wait,
nerds.
that long
What
and
about a
forth,
bit of bonk on the PC Engine? I think we're getting a bit tongue in cheek now.
Oh, that's Lee. That'll be Lee, won't it? Calling all nerds.
Yes, Lee, yeah.
Yeah. That's it, mate.
Mm.
27 viewing, though.
Sad bastard.
There's 27 people not doing fuck all on a Saturday night. Friday
Friday
night.
night.
Friday night.
Favourite vehicle used in the game?
Oh.
Discuss.
Who asked this?
I think it might have been Gareth. No, it might be Mark.
No, you can
I
tell.
think it's Mark. It's a Mark question.
It's one of them pair.
Go on then, Dana. What's yours?
I'm fucking thinking, mate.
Mm. Well, I'd probably say let's probably narrow the margin here. It's not the vehicle that's part of the games. You can't sort of say Sega Rally, the Celica or something like that. I think it has to be a vehicle that you get into as part of the game.
No, it has to be a specific type of vehicle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Come on, Mark. You asked the question. Fire away.
I tell you what I did like, and it's not really a vehicle, but it is. I suppose it just helped you travel in some degrees. I always like the cape in Super Mario World. Where you can fly through the levels with it.
Oh, if you're having that then. I like the dragons in Golden Axe then.
There you go.
Yeah.
They're not a fucking vehicle though, are they?
Well, just,
Don't put on leg.
I think that's the question. I'm just reading it out, man. Fuck it out. Leave off.
Well, it's a vehicular like thing though, and it's a bit like getting in a tank in Metal Slug, isn't it?
Yeah, and it
There you go.
disappears.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say you had to be, combustion engine in it.
For me, it's the high wind in Final Fantasy VII.
What? It's not something in Last of Us.
The high wind.
No, you don't get nothing there. You just watch them drive it.
I can't even fucking think straight now. I don't know.
I'm trying to think.
What are you doing?
He likes. I don't know. Look at the size of his phone.
Oh, I tell you what I did like, which is pretty cool when you got it. Well, yeah, that was when the man cave. Final Fantasy 3, when you actually got the airship and you could fly around the map.
Mm.
And you could do that in when you got the Dragon in Secret Manor.
Has anyone played a game
Yes.
called?
Whoa.
Has anyone played a game called Steambot Chronicles?
On the PS2, I've got that.
I heard
Yeah.
a lot of good things about that.
Them steam powered fucking mechs in that.
I've never played the fucker. It's just sat on the shelf for about 9 years.
I wouldn't mind trying that, Mark, actually.
Got some steamboat action, Pete.
So it's like a steampunk.
Well, I like steampunk shit. You know, have you ever watched Steam Boy? That's another manga fucking video one.
Yeah. Brilliant. I love steampunk shit.
No, but
What's
I do
it?
know who
Catchy,
Steaming
you know what
Boy
I'm
is.
talking about? The director of the thing, blah, blah, blah. It's set in Manchester, you know.
Anybody else got any favourite vehicles?
Well, I mean, if I'm going to mention anything, it won't be really. It's a bit that strange area, which is PC gaming, which is the original like Battlefield games when they first before the all this COD stuff ruined it all, in my opinion. You know, the original Battlefield games. There was one called Battlefield 2142 in about 2006 or something. and you could get into these like Ed 209 things, and you were walking basically through the level, just blasting the fuck out of these little dickheads with machine guns.
Awesome.
So, again, it's not really. I mean, is it retro gaming now? PC stuff?
Of course it is.
It's got to be now.
Yeah,
For me,
I would agree.
the greatest vehicle is Lotus Turbo Challenge was the Lotus Elan, the yellow Lotus.
Yeah, but
Elan.
that's part of the game, Pete.
When I fucking first saw that, though.
Yeah, but that's not.
When I saw, you can play with the Lotus Elan. No, it is part of the game. What, it's a vehicle in the game. Is that not allowed?
Yeah, but that is the game, isn't it? The game is the fucking vehicle. It's not part of it.
It's still a vehicle in the game.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Right, moving on. Shut up.
You ingenuous fucking pompous bastards.
Cock knockers. Right. Right, here we go. I don't know, this must be a mark.
Nissan Skyline, original Gran Turismo, the white one, man. You can buy cheap. Sorry.
You're not even drinking. Right.
No, I'm just annoying.
It's got to be a mark
I can't
question.
understand the joke. Look back at
I'm going to
this.
fucking mute you in a minute. Ever tried to get a non-gamer into gaming? That's a mark question.
Fucking hell.
Well, have you?
No.
I'm less people in the hobby so I can buy shit.
I don't think it is my question, actually.
It's probably Gareth's.
It's not my question, but it is a fucking nightmare getting non-gamers into gaming. I think you either get it or you don't.
Are we talking retro gaming or modern gaming?
Gaming in general.
I think both. I remember back in the day, before the PlayStation came out, you were a gamer or not. What the PlayStation did was introduce that sort of weird genre where you're a casual gamer. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Well, that was the whole market, wasn't it?
Yeah, they basically forged a weird sort of, like Steve sort of said, a weird market that never really existed, like the casual gamer.
Well, if you look at the advertising from mid-90s onwards, it completely changed.
Yeah.
Didn't it? They sort of got all hip and.
I think they took a leaf out of Sega and they ramped it up like steroids.
All right then. If it might have been my question. Okay. Right.
Mark, look, she's not interested in you. You just got a kid together. That's it.
I've got a little add-on to it though. A little +1 to that, right? Our age group, if we just take like a mean average of the of our little group, are we in the minority or not?
No. The average gamer is about 33.
Right.
We're definitely
I'd say we're the average
minority then, mate. I can assure you of that. Most of us are bloody late 30s and late 40s, like you, Mark.
Can I just interject a second? Can I just interject a second? We've got the legendary Raz in the comments. So
Raz gives me shit as well all the time.
Yeah, but
Can
Raz.
you tell us how to do a Swedish pizza?
Is that a sex maneuver? Is it a Swedish?
No,
pizza?
he had a video once. This is a Swedish pizza. And it looked amazing, but he never showed us how to make it.
Look, you talk about Raz. You talk about Razzie. He didn't even know he had a fuse box in his own flat.
But Raz is asking about Arcade Club in February.
We'll add that at the end. I'll add that as a.
Stay and watch Raz and listen to my shit.
Yeah, Raz, sub to me. You've never left a comment. I leave comments on your bloody videos, you bugger. Fuck's sake.
I don't ever seem to give me shit.
Which channel?
You're one of them ones that puts the thumbs down in your Raz. That's you.
No, that's me. If you've got one thumb down on your video,
you're all right. I accept your thumbs down.
So what's this about getting a non-gamer into gaming then? Because
Well, no, it's not my question. I'm guessing it's basically if you had a mate who's, I don't know, into music and you try and get him. It's like someone trying to get me into vinyl and music. I like it, it's all right, but I wouldn't get into it.
I'll tell you what it was based on, Dana, right?
Go on then.
I'm big into FIFA. Okay, I'm big into football. I'm big into FIFA, right? And obviously, I've got a few guys that I play online FIFA with. I don't know any of them. Okay, I think one of the guys lives in America and this that, and the other. So I've got a big contingent of my mates are massive football fans, right? And they just laughed at me when I suggested like hooking up on PS4 to play FIFA. They were just like, "Why would
Your
you?"
mates seem to laugh at you all the time. You know, I was laughing at you in the last video.
Mark,
I feel bad for you.
Here's a tip for you. Get some new mates.
Well, to follow on from that, though, actually, I'll answer the question that has been asked. My only example of probably getting people into gaming that maybe weren't so much might be related to FIFA, actually, because when I used to go out a lot with all the lads, quite often they'd be piling around to my flat. We'd be having we get the PlayStation 3 out at the time, 2008 maybe, whatever. We get FIFA on the go, but we get any following on from that. If we get a bit bored with that, then there would be maybe get the fighting games on or this and that and the other.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but Steve, I agree with you, but that's a different generational thing, isn't it?
That's
I was exactly the same. When me and the lads were going out, we were on the GameCube and we had on the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
But that's a
social.
Now. Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's a different. I agree with you in some degrees, but I think it's a different question.
Yeah. Okay. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Definitely, 100%. I was exactly the same. Me and the lads, Super Monkey Ball on the GameCube. We could get the highest score, and then it was onto the Dreamcast, virtual tennis, doubles, yada yada yada, and it was an absolute laugh. And I got them into gaming from that end, but
I know.
Moving on now, like Mark sort of basically said, if you try to sort of say to them, well, let's play a game online.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
most people have these massive periods of not playing any kind of games. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
So I went from 1999 all the way through to about, dare I say it, 2011, without really playing that many games at all. Although I had systems, I used them for DVD players and all this.
Were you in prison between those years, Pete?
I was in prison.
You should have been,
but only
He
for
was
a few
hiding from
years.
the Americans.
Grand larceny. But other than that, I used to watch people play the games, and I hated it when it got 3D. When it was N64 and PlayStation, I absolutely despise. I thought it looked like shit then, and I still do. I really didn't like it, except the 2D fighters. I'd still play the fighters occasionally, but I completely went off it until I went back. The nostalgia brought me back. Now I'm a massive gamer. That's my main hobby is gaming all the time.
But the thing is, though, right?
Years.
I always have the last laugh because when they find out you've got your own fucking man cave games room, then they start thinking, actually, that's good.
I'll throw it out there, right? I'm currently on a site. Not a site, it's not a big site, it's just a little build site. And there's a kid on there who's 19, and all he talks about is video games, and he's working with his stepdad, who's probably just a bit younger than me, and all they talk about is video games. But yet, none of my mates who, in my early 20s, like Stu said, the generational thing is, we were into three things: football, beer, and gaming. And there's only me who's refused to let go of fucking any of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, I think it has become. I mean, I think you're all, before I joined, you were all talking about the markets and the events. I actually think now, not just the modern gaming. Obviously, modern gaming is massive. It's bigger than the film industry, etc. But even like the retro games and stuff, it's become kind of quite cool now.
I was just about to say that. I mentioned to anyone on a building site that I buy and sell video games and stuff like that, it will spark a conversation instantly about a game that they used to play.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's no longer frowned upon. It's no longer frowned upon. I mean, it reminds me actually of, I don't know, when I was a teenager in the early 90s, my parents might have talked about the vinyls that they used to buy, like the Beatles, the Stones, and that was what it was about when they were growing up. And I think it's come to that stage now with the retro video games.
Full circle, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember? Like, I remember when I was younger, and there's people riding around on Vespers, and they got selected a lot of little. These come hair dryers on wheels. Now, if you've got a Vespa, you're fucking cool as fuck, ain't you?
Yeah, the Vespers and the Lambresses, the Italian one. You know.
Right, anyway, moving on.
Right.
I don't know. Go either way. This one. Ever got jealous when a friend was better than you at a game? If so, which game?
That's my question again. This Street Fighter 2 all day long. I've actually had a full-on fight in someone's bedroom over Street Fighter 2.
Jesus Christ.
I love it.
I tried doing fucking.
You rage quit.
Honestly, it just got to the point where it just got too serious. Yeah, and now I was shit on it, and I'm still shit on it now.
But that's only because you played it. Do you remember we played it at Mike's with them fucking god awful joysticks?
Yeah.
That was painful. You couldn't do anything.
No, you couldn't. No.
Tank fucking bullshit.
At least we won't fight him.
I've always been okay with not being the better gamer because I've had an older brother who, like, you know, he was like 13 years older than me, so he used to wind me up about being better than me at Sonic and fucking everything else. Whereas now it's a more level playing field, so it's never really fucking bothered me. He always used to give me something to target out. Going back to the game and watches, he used to fucking find it hilarious that it was mine. I'd leave it lying down and he'd beat my high score knowing that I'd go on it. And it was his fucking score. And that's going back right to my young fucking childhood. I used to have that. So fucking, it's never bothered me.
Yeah.
It's motivated me.
Yeah. I mean, most of my game was probably doing with my mate John and stuff like that. So, but a bit like Dana, I've never been the most prolific gamer at all. I make no bones about that at all. But there's certain games I was always all right at, and some games I absolutely sucked at. I was always pretty good at kickoff too, and we used to have fucking Olympic fucking matches set to the most whatever the clock it was on kickoff 2 hours or something. Steve Screech, the referee, you know, and it was epic fucking battles we used to have on that. Street Fighter 2, I'm okay at. You know, I'm not the greatest. I was doing all right. Against my schoolmates, I was fucking used to whoop their asses. But against my mate John was one of these people that not every game, but most games he was good at. It didn't infuriate me, but he was just good at them. We had another mate, my mate Steve, who directs movies now and stuff. He was fucking a beast at driving games. Absolute fucking beast at driving games. You have any level in Gran Turismo you couldn't complete, or what's one of the release? Was it Midnight Club or something like that? And it just fucking blasts through the levels. Yeah. And it wasn't like an angry thing. It was just more, you motherfucker.
Just had a knack.
He had a knack for it.
Yeah.
That kills me every time someone comes over. Well, which is pretty rare, but like when the Birmingham crew come over, they go, "Oh, put on a game," and they always absolutely kick my ass at any driving game. I'll put it on, yeah. Put this one, driving game, yeah. Yo, put the driving game on, Pete. Wicked. Right? Put the driving game on, yeah. Well, yeah, wicked, right? Or I'm playing a Nissan, yeah. And they just smash my ass every time. You having a zoo to you later or what? Yeah, wicked. And that's it.
Sounds quite intense. Sounds quite intense, please.
Gareth, do you get jealous of Lucy being better at games than you?
No. But she is better at certain games than me. I mean, she likes Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War. And to be honest, she is better at those games than me. But no, I think jealousy is a bit of a strange thing when it comes to gaming.
Are you going to I'd probably, if it was my question, I'd probably rephrase it and sort of say less like jealous. It's more that
competitive edge.
Not anger, but it's more that sort of feeling of fucking frustration, isn't it? Yeah. You want to be better, but it's just not in. You can't, you know. I don't know.
Especially when you own the game. When you own
It's my game, goddamn you!
Some of the motherfucker just smashes you on it.
Yeah.
It kills you. It does inside. You die a little bit.
Yeah, but the thing is with Street Fighter 2, right? You got to understand when that came out and it were in all arcades.
It's
we used to
massive.
go after school every fucking day, learning every single move of every single character.
Yeah.
So we knew all the moves. Yet I could never fucking win. I could pull off
I reckon
every
you should
single
all have a
move.
Street Fighter 2 comp. Because I'm
You know
playing.
what I've always said this, and I think it was at Revival. I'm not sure who was around at the time, and they have the competition, don't they? And when I was younger, we used to go to Skegness a lot with my mate John, all the time, like 4 times a year at Skegness. And I always remember there was a guy in there in one of the arcades, and he was hands down the single best player I've ever seen on Street Fighter 2, and he was Guile, or whatever you want to call him, but I call him Guile. And you couldn't get anywhere fucking near him. And then when we was at Revival, remember Jay was going up and stuff like that. I think one of the joysticks was broke anyway, to be fair to him. But the guy won it. I'm sure he's one of the store holders. But he was
Andy
playing
Slater,
Guile.
is it?
Oh?
Is it Andy Slater?
Yeah, the Crazy Legs or something. And I sort of said at the time to the guys there, and I recalled that story about the guy at Skegness. I said, the best player I've ever seen in Street Fighter was playing Guile. But the point being, back to Pete, was if you ever did a Street Fighter challenge or whatever, my specification would be you can't be Ryu or Ken, because I think they should be devoid, because that's not a Street Fighter talent.
Of course it is. If you
No, it's not. No, it should be anybody but Ryu or Ken.
Okay, Chun-Li then.
Whatever, yeah, anybody but them two.
I don't know, man. I think Ryu's got a lot of weaknesses, but he's got a lot of power.
That's what that'd be my only stipulation.
Or you could just go in Honda, just go.
No, Street Fighter 2 could have its own fucking night topic wise, couldn't it? That's how much of a.
Any comments, Mark? Before we move on.
No, I don't think there is, unless my phone stopped refreshing.
No, they're just bored of us now.
Yeah, we've got more people in the house.
Right, okay. Talk about boredom then. Does the future of gaming excite or bore you? I think it's a Gareth one.
Jesus here, and I am back again with a.
Pete, turn that shit off.
Yeah, I think the future of gaming does excite me. Yeah, absolutely. I think it should excite everybody, but people don't seem to be excited about Naughty Dog, do they? And
It's not a game, Gareth. They don't produce games. They produce interactive movies, and on we go.
Oh, I don't know. I quite like the games.
But I find that really strange hearing that when you go back to Final Fantasy VII in 1990, what were it, 96, 97?
Yeah, but I didn't.
And that was more of a movie than a game. There were about 6 hours worth of FMV.
Well, I think it's just a taste thing, isn't it? I think people like different types of interactivity, basically.
It don't bother me at all. I quite like it, Gareth. They're only pulling your leg, mate. I think it's part and parcel of modern gaming now.
Are you on about future of gaming as in consoles moving on, or games that are coming out? Or
games
both?
that are genre-defying, games that are pushing the boundaries of gaming, which are, let's be honest, Uncharted and The Last of Us.
Not on the PS4. All the indie developers are doing extremely well.
Yeah, they are. They are doing extremely
well. They're games.
You can't compare that with the technological leap.
I couldn't give a shit about technology. Let's deal with the technological leap. Okay.
Sometimes. Yeah, go on, Pete.
Go on, Susie, man.
All I was going to say is, and I don't know if you want to. Just because something is technically possible doesn't make it better.
It doesn't. When it's grounded with incredible storytelling, I think it does.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think people now, or the consumer now, wants to be entertained as well as to be engaged. Whereas previously, like I suppose for a lot of us, the games like Link to the Past, Zelda. A lot that world you envisage yourself and you got engrossed into it. Whereas now, because of the visuals do a lot of that for you. So I think that's why a lot of people like Peter, again, I might be putting words into their mouth, but it's all done for you. You don't feel like you're engaging with it. It's telling you.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe
less
I don't
imagination.
know.
Less imagination. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I don't know.
And control, having control over these characters to say this is what you're going to do, and having a bit of intelligence behind that to say this is going to do that and that's going to do that, but without all this button mashing shit. I mean, I go back. I go back to Octopath Traveler. It's amazing. It's like the SNES has come in to the fucking 21st century.
Yeah.
And gone, here we go. This is a game. You play it as a game, and there's going to be cutscenes every now and again. But they're going to make the point. They're going to move the narrative forward. You've got to move the narrative forward instead of this bollocks. Man, it all went downhill for me. Completely downhill when they started PS1 era, to be honest. That was the death of gaming. Not all of it, but at least half.
But I think that's an opinion. I think the good thing I would say, right, because obviously different opinions on this. It's quite divisive. I actually think this generation, the PS4 generation, the good thing about it is there's something for everyone now. Now, if you go back a generation, I agree with Pete. It was moving all that way, but this generation, a lot of the main people and the rise of the indie studios as well has basically given choice for everyone. So we've all got the choice now, and all of these different types of games are being made.
I totally agree with that. The PS4 is such a broad range now of games. There is something for everyone.
See, it might shock people for me to say this, but I absolutely, completely disagree. If it wasn't for the PlayStation, you wouldn't have a mainstream of gaming. Gaming wouldn't be mainstream. The PlayStation 1 made gaming mainstream.
Rubbish.
No, it's not.
I agree with Gareth.
Not rubbish.
It made it acceptable. It made it culturally. It made it acceptable. It made gaming cool again.
The PlayStation
Sega and the Mega Drive, like I spoke about before, Sony picked up on that and they carried it forward.
Yeah.
And especially with Wipeout, they put it into all the nightclubs and stuff, and he made it like me and Steve have mentioned before, and probably a lot of you other lads. You're on the beers, you're on whatever you're doing, whatever, and you're playing the games before you're going out, and it become a cultural acceptable thing to do, and it made it less geeky, less nerdy.
Well, it grew up. I think gaming grew up in those years. It grew up. I think, is that the best way to say it? It just grew up, and as the people of the time were growing up, growing older,
they grew with it.
The marketing was targeted at those slightly older generation. It went from like Super Mario Brothers 3, and then suddenly the next couple of years you're having dark, edgy games.
That was Sega's influence, though. Sega did that. Sega took it from the families to the sort of teens, and then Sony picked the teens up and pulled it into the sort of 20s and the 30s.
Yeah, that's what happened, and I think I think
Gareth's right.
But let's go away from sales figures. Right? Come away from sales figures. Come away from all that jibber jabber, right? When I was in junior school in 1995, gaming was very much geek culture. You had to be a geek to be into gaming. The PlayStation 1 transitioned that from being a geek to being a mainstream thing.
Right. Can I just stop you
there? Yeah, go on.
I accept what you're saying. I actually don't disagree. I absolutely agree that it became more mainstream, more acceptable, more hip, more trendy. Okay? Well, to me, that was sort of the death of gaming, not now. Okay, this is at that period in the mid to late 90s, yeah? Because they went all in for graphics and sound. So if you got the PlayStation early releases, you had Wipeout. So Wipeout is a game. You can fucking play Wipeout as an actual game, and you need some fucking ability and skill, right? Now, can you say the same about Resident Evil? Really? Can you honestly say that you need that element of skill that you do for, say, a Street Fighter or even an old school RPG like
But
Zelda?
you did for Tomb Raider. But you did for Tomb Raider, definitely.
Absolutely. It's still not an easy game to
Tomb
play.
Raider, yeah, that's a good point. I'll go along with Tomb Raider, actually.
What I'll say is
I'll go along with that.
Gareth's on about the future of gaming and these technological advances. If that's just you talking about, I don't know, graphical advances and stuff like that, I would take gameplay, entertainment, involvement over watching a very pretty picture on my screen.
Yeah.
10 times out of 10.
It's more than that. It's more than that. It's the soul of the game is the story writing, and there's more depth to the game. What I'm saying is they're the type of games, the linear games that are.
But do you need a story to a game?
You're talking about story writing.
Pushing
Gareth,
it on.
that's not
Do
a
I need a
game.
story?
No,
Did I
no.
need a story to be involved in Sonic the Hedgehog? Did I need the mass story, or did I just go on and play the level?
Yeah, so
Did I
like,
need the story for Tomb Raider, or did I just go on and solve the puzzles?
Are we
That
talking
makes it
about-
a game.
But this
Are we
is it. There's an
double
argument for that, Dana, because back in the 90s, you didn't have the technology to have storytelling to that
Of course
depth.
you did. That's bollocks.
No, it is.
Gareth, that's garbage. No,
Oh,
look at
Pete,
every
Pete,
single
Pete,
RPG.
Hey, calm down, right? How many of us here, when it used to be text and we had to read it, and you
Yeah,
could press
true.
a button to skip it? How many of us skipped it? I skipped it. I
yeah,
can tell you a
look,
fucking
look,
story.
Already.
guys, can I play devil's advocate here? Right, I think the modern games that we're talking about, that are like The Last of Us, okay, etc., or anything with quick time events, they are the modern equivalent to what used to be a text adventure or what used to be a point and click adventure.
I'm
After
going
that,
with that.
now personally
I'll go with
myself, I liked some of those, like Beneath the Steel Sky and the Amiga was a fantastic game,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
wasn't heavily into them. But I think the different types of gaming, is that fair for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've always had the narrative kind of games that was slower paced, and while Monkey Island, if you go back and play Monkey Island, right, you're not watching. At the time, you're watching the equivalent of The Last of Us, because you'll watch a cutscene with old Guybrush Threepwood,
Yeah.
and it could be a couple of minutes long, and then you've got to go and investigate that scene. So I think that's the kind of game that certain people like and certain people don't, and other kinds of games, which is probably my choice, are more press left, it goes left straight away. Instantaneous. So I think we're talking about two different kinds of games.
I know.
I don't think arguing the two types against each other there'll be never a consensus if you don't like those types of games.
It baffles me that we're attacking games that have heart and soul like The Last of Us, when you've got games destroying gaming like FIFA and COD. We need to be focusing our attention on things that are destroying gaming like Call of Duty and FIFA, which is churning out the same shit year on year on
Can I
year.
ask you a question, Gareth?
Yeah.
It's a fair point. I actually hear what you're saying. So, would you agree or disagree that you need an element of skill and ability to play FIFA?
Yep.
Well, you
I
did
don't know, because I don't play it enough to have a judgment on that.
Yes, you do.
I
No,
don't think you do.
exactly.
I don't think you do.
Yeah.
I
Same
think
with Call of Duty.
But
do.
he's got a valid point about the repetition of the industry. I think actually going forward, the original question was the future of gaming, right? And I think he's got a really valid point there, because that is the one thing that is so negative, is the cash cow repetition. Now, I'm a big fan of FIFA. I enjoy it. I really like it.
But it's not a new thing, is it?
No, well, before that, mate, you had Sensible Soccer.
Yeah.
You had Sensible Soccer
I just
96.
had that one next to me.
Yeah. Kickoffs, yeah.
Call of Duty is using the same engine they used in 2006.
Gareth, I do not dispute what you're saying, and Steve, nor you at all whatsoever. And you made a valid point. It's about moving forward. My point is whether or not I can even consider something that you can't actually physically do for more than you don't, and a game.
Yeah, but Pete, this has been going on for years, didn't it? Start with what were it called? Fucking Space Quest or something. What will that? Is it called that? You remember
Dragon's Quest, Space Quest,
yeah. I remember getting that game and thinking, "Fuck's sake, you can't interact with this." It's almost like a channel down a certain route, sort of.
It's always been there. It's a different type of game. It's a different type of game.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is that wasn't mainstream. The mainstream was games that you had to interact with. Okay, so the mainstream has become games that you interact with less, and they show you more pretty pictures on the screen.
So actually, I would say some of them, but I actually, if you go to, I would say GTA 5 and Red Dead 2 that's just come out. I actually find them really, really interactive. Constantly, you've got to press. You can do anything.
They've got an open world, and you can dictate where you're going. Maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, but again, I think that's probably your modern equivalent of an action game. Whereas, the narrative-driven, lead you down a path kind of game. That's the modern equivalent of a point-and-click adventure. So
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that.
I just think there's everything now. So I think everything is game this generation.
Have we seen anything yet from the next gen? Do we know what's coming? We're just talking there. Then we're talking about open world games with too much cutscenes. Are we not? Is that what
Mark, it's not about cutscenes. Now, let me just, be very specific here. The cutscenes I have no issue with. It's the sort of the pressing loads of buttons, quick, blah, 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 all this to move a scene forward instead of actually interacting. So, okay, like Steve said there, Grand Theft Auto 5 is a prime example of getting it absolutely cock on. So Rockstar, they did, because I've played them fucking Grand Theft Auto 5, and I enjoyed it. Do not get it twisted. I thought it was fucking amazing, right? And there was a lot of cutscenes, but I felt like I was immersed.
So where's it?
I didn't feel that with other games.
Where's it changed for you, Pete? Where's the threshold between just right and not too much, sort of thing?
Well, I think just right is maybe a GTA 5,
right?
Where you have to have a little bit of skill. It's not.
You're saying Last of Us has got far too much.
Well, I mean, I know Gareth would say otherwise, and actually, I agree. I respect his opinion a lot. So I'm gonna look at it from a different point of view. You know what I mean? So I'm only going for. I've got a bit of a Neanderthal kind of, pretty straightforward kind of vibe going on. So I'm not right, but what I'm saying is, for myself, the way I feel about something, man, I've got to feel it to get into it.
That's probably because you don't like. I mean, I'm the same as you, Pete. Actually, I don't like that kind of game so much. However, The Last of Us, or Heavy Rain, the last gen, things like that. That was even more so much, but they're like the spiritual successor to the point and click.
Yeah, you're right. You are right.
Yeah, was the spiritual successor to the sex space. It's an adventure.
Life is Strange is probably the most game like a point and click game, I'd say, currently.
I agree with that, but The Last of Us is not a point and click game.
No, I didn't mean that.
World in that.
No, I didn't mean that. I mean,
I agree with you.
It's just what I meant, Gav, is it's a story-driven.
Guys, I'm just a bit conscious
narrative
about
game.
time. I've got an absolute shed load of comments here, so I'll just press on if you don't mind, just so we can probably get one more question in.
Good job, Mark. Good job, my friend.
Sega Zombie. Current gen bores me. Okay. Retro perspective, Uncharted and The Last of Us aren't pushing any genre-defining boundaries.
They
They are third-person shooters with pretty standard mechanics.
It's wrong. He's absolutely wrong.
Okay. Dylan Craven, loving the current gen. The PS4 is outstanding and the Switch ain't no slouch either. Retro perspective again. And I think The Last of Us has one of the most overrated stories ever. Just don't lose it, Gareth.
Who said that? Who said that?
Retro perspective again. Horizon Zero Dawn was so much more emotional and original. Fair enough.
I agree with that.
I need to try that.
Sega Zombie, the Switch has been the saviour of the generation. The only modern platform I play, but a lot of my time is spent on it playing retro games. Glory Hunter 82. If consoles go diskless, I'm done. Getting sick of microtransactions and content being put out to sell later.
That's because he's a tight fucker, that is.
Christopher 78. Switch is great for modern and retro. I don't like downloading games, but they have a great selection of both in the store. I'm slowly warming to the Switch, though it's still the PS4 that gets most of my time. Yeah, you see, this is one of the reasons why I'm nowhere near getting a Switch, because I've just got a great fear that I won't even touch it. Ever.
Oh, you will. The thing is, Mark, to be fair, in this, where we are right now, you know, we got you're the oldest, you look the youngest, but you're the oldest, and then you got Steve, you got Tootie, and you've got myself, then Dana and Gareth. Okay, so we got people who are only 11 years apart, but we've got the youngest, like Gareth, who's like 31, isn't you, Gareth? 31. So he's experienced, you know, his generation was the PS1, whereas my generation was the Mega Drive. Yeah. Your generation was the Spectrum. Okay, right. Tootie as well, and maybe Steve and Dana as well can maybe appreciate both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pong system, Mark, was Pong.
Fuck, I fucking you. You're so readable, mate. You know, you're like fucking. I can read you like David Blyton. Sega Zombie, the future of gaming is in the indie scene. It's like we've gone full circle from when gaming began with the home computers, the bedroom coders, and small developers.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it's quite a valid point. I think you will always have your big studios. Now, right, I think gaming is mirroring the music industry by utilizing modern technology. Now, it would be a point, go back to when all that pop idol bollocks started in the early 00s, where the record companies and the moguls were king in the music industry, right? So this is where you had all the crappy artists that would come through. No disrespect to the guys, I'm sure they worked hard for it, these young kids, but they would come through and be pruned by these record moguls and shaped and molded. Now, what you have now these days, you do have a lot more bands coming through, self-promoting over the internet. And the same is with these smaller software studios. It almost harks back, I think, to the if you ever see the Bedrooms to Billions documentary and the whole scene in the UK in the early to mid 80s. And obviously there's a bit more. They've got far better tools now at hand. They're not actually typing in code. They'll be using predetermined tools and engines given to them. But they've got a lot of skill behind that as well. But I think there's a lot going on there now.
I don't know about you guys though, but for me, the more I think about it, the next generation could almost be make or break for the industry. They need to get it. They need to get it right, because it could just be the end of it if we're not careful, I think.
It won't be the end, but Microsoft have to get it right for one.
Yeah.
And they will. They're investing billions right now in a lot of different companies. They're realizing that they need some incredible exclusives for the new console.
Yeah.
And I think the next generation will be far more interesting than the current.
Yeah.
Far more. Absolutely. There's more on stake. I think you're absolutely on the money.
Should we move on now, then, guys?
Yeah, go on, Susie. Let's move on. Buddy.
So the next one I've got on the list, I had to go through a was and a beer. Should games like Fortnite win awards? Are they real games? Is that
No, they're not.
It's the same fucking question, isn't it?
well?
Yeah.
Mate, move on to the next one. We've just
Right, okay, here you go. Light-hearted, tongue-in-cheek. I think this is a Mark one. World War III is declared. Do you shag yourself to death or play your favourite game one last time?
It's not mine. I wish I had thought of it, though.
Where's Lucy?
Yeah, where's Lucy?
Type bastard.
Yeah, I'd be fuck that. I'd be having a shag, mate. I won't be playing no fucking games.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I'm with Mark.
I'd be shagging
Well,
my game.
well, look, Gareth, if you're with Mark, I'll be with Lucy then.
It's all coming out. I fucking knew it.
She's got a bigger dick than you.
Yeah. I wondered why you didn't give a fuck about me at Doncaster, you bastard.
You weren't there.
The other one. The fucking... Hello, Lucy. Fuck Gareth.
Gareth who? Where is he? Right, here we go. Well, I suppose this could be a contentious one. If you were offered double the market value of your current collection, would you sell it?
Ooh.
No. I've vowed, and I mean this, never to sell my collection. I will never, I promise you, I will never sell this collection.
Would you thin it out?
Yeah, I'm doing that now.
This is a stupid question. Because if you're offered, right, double the market value, I'd sell it and then buy it back at the market value.
Cheaper.
It's a pride thing.
Yeah, you got all crack on.
Yeah, it's a personality thing though, isn't it? Because I'm one of those people that if I collect something, I would, you know, I don't
really your own Dana
and sell it. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know, tough one.
What? So what's roughly the market value of your collection then, Stuart?
And when are you out next?
It's all right. The missus has gone to bed now.
Oh, what?
I don't know. I don't know.
Guess.
It's a lot, isn't it? You know, it's obviously
it's got to be shit.
Yeah. But it's more than a monetary investment, isn't it?
Yeah.
An emotional. You know, you built so long getting all those things together. It almost rip you apart selling them, but then on the flip side, some people will just
So I was literally about to say the same thing, Steve. So there's been a few guys on some of the Facebook pages, and they've had nigh on full sets. I think they've had no, actually had full sets, full Master System, full Mega Drive, and he's a fellow admin on Retro Round, Paul Murdoch. I think he sold his full Mega Drive for just over 10 grand. He sold his Master System for over 3.5 grand. I mean, that's selling them. That's not market value. That's selling them to people that are going to flip them on.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a difference there. So when you talk about selling stuff and whatever, you have to understand there's market value, which is what stuff's worth, and it's when you want to sell stuff in bulk.
Convenience.
Yeah, you have to reduce the price.
Yeah. So say someone offered you 20 grand.
So I've got a full Master System, I've got a full GameCube. I've got a full N64, not complete in box. I've got a full Saturn, which is complete, and I'm 9 games short of a Mega Drive.
Fucking hellfire.
Yeah, so there's a house right there, Stu.
I've got a house, thank you very much.
No, I know what you mean. I've just some of the value in theory, you know.
You've got a bit, right?
I'm
not being funny.
People look at that and they'll sort of say, there's thousands or whatever it is there. But the reality of it is, it's cost me very little.
Yeah.
None of my stuff owes me anything.
But what's costed you, which is a good thing, actually, it costs you your passion.
Yeah, my time.
Emotion. But that's not a cost to you. That's
this is what I enjoy doing.
That's a bonus to you, isn't it?
Mm.
So
because that's probably why you wouldn't sell. And I'm the same with my
your trainers. Yeah,
training collection. It's exactly the same. Yeah.
Going forward, then, Stuart, do you ever envisage a time or a situation where you would contemplate getting rid of a collection?
Yeah, well, if it was on my own,
right?
There's no doubt about it. If you know, God forbid, touch where anything happened to me and the missus and whatever, and I was on the street. I know it sounds daft, and people say you shouldn't think like that, but there's still money in it. Even in 10 years' time, there'll be money in it. But I don't buy stuff at. I buy. Well, let me rephrase that. I do. I buy very little at market value. There is, and there will be stuff that I will buy at market value because you have.
I wish I were like that.
Actually, though, I think you play the CX really well, Stu, because
you have to. You have to look. You have to work all the angles.
Yeah, but I think that's like you'll get those at market value, but you're almost not using real money because you're making stuff from the booters.
Yeah,
and it's almost like if you think about it as virtual money, and then you get the title that you want.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it does. It's the only way to really do it.
Yeah.
It's like free money. You can buy something for £1 from the boot sale and get fucking 12 quid trading.
Yeah.
It's just like money from nowhere.
And I'll tell you what, come Easter, I'm on that fucking bandwagon big style. I am going around all the booters looking for 360, anything that's going to just pay out at CEX.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you double your money, Mark, right? So if you think about it, right, just logically, I mean, I guess it would probably be higher, but generally, any sort of trader wants to double the money, minimal, right?
Minimum's 50%, on anything I want for trading,
So if you can do more than 50%, and you're willing to buy that game anyway from CEX, then you're better off spending 20 quid on Wii fodder to get the game for less than its value.
I've always don't ever get me wrong with CEX, Joe. I got it right from the off what you were saying. It's totally right, all that, and I totally agree with it, and it's brilliant. The only thing that I've had the problem is the roulette side of it.
Yeah.
You
have to be willing to gamble. You have to have enough collateral to gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can always take it back, can't you?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, Stu, I get where Mark's coming from here. You've got to have patience. Okay? You've got to have the not only the dough, not only the guap, the cheddar cheese, the money, whatever the hell you call it.
The cheddar cheese. I love it.
You've got to be able to bloody well, wait for the shit to come through. Go, that's not good enough. Take it back.
Yep.
Go through that whole rigmarole again and again and again.
Yep.
Now, Stuart, if anything, this proves that you're an extremely patient man.
Passion as well.
My hat goes off to you, my friend.
That's a passion, though, isn't it? That's his passion.
That is.
Let's
go
move on.
Through that again and again and again and again, Stuart, for that many years to get that many sets that you got, and they're brilliant. Let's not forget how fucking good your collection is. Okay, and you don't fucking boast about it, and you should. No, you shouldn't, because you keep humble. You keep humble.
Never get to see
it.
it.
Let's not get it twisted. You got an amazing set, right? Of
It's
what 5, 6 full collections, but you've had to do it in a hard way, man. A lot of people don't got that patience.
I don't think there is an easy way to do it, is there?
Well, if you got the money, yeah, there's always an easy way, isn't there? Just buy the fucker.
You know, no, but I don't think there's an easy way to build the sets that you've got, mate. I don't think there's, apart from the look of buying it and having like tens of thousands in your bank to buy someone's collection, there's no easy way to get what you've got.
No, people do though.
You know?
People do all the time, Steve. They do all the
Can I
time.
just ask?
It's more often than you realise.
Right. Okay.
Dana, is that helicopter on your wall? Is it the 18 one?
from the red one.
The red one. The
Yeah,
huge 500.
Up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the 18 one. Yeah.
I had that when I was a kid.
My missus got me for like a stupid Christmas or birthday present. Like,
Oh, I love that.
Where's the man cave gone? Where's Gareth?
playing in a puddle of The Last of Us.
I'm busy eating.
So what? You know what, Gareth? If you had to sell it, would you or not?
I'd have to be really desperate. I mean, really desperate. Like,
where's he gone?
Next meal desperate.
Fucking come into the camera, motherfucker.
One sec.
Damn, it's like that site I invited you to. Well, you invited me to.
Which one?
With the lamp.
Desperado.
There he is.
But no, I wouldn't sell up. I don't think so.
Well, it's a desperation thing, isn't it? Like what Stu said before. If you're going to be homeless or anything like that, then obviously you're not going to go around with a trolley with games on the street, are you? That's be quite fucking up. You're going to take that choice to see
Sign saying need money for storage.
do you love fucking retro gaming that much? You know, if I'm being honest with you, if somebody came with a Moog synthesizer from 1972 and went, look, man, you can cash that in for your entire Mega Drive. I've got about 200 Mega Drive games. I'd cash that shit in straight away for the Moog synthesizer.
I don't know what that means. So
something else. So it's trading in what you have for something more meaningful.
But that's your passion, though.
The thing is, so like this time last month or 5 weeks ago, something, I don't know, some time around there, I got laid off, and my knee-jerk reaction was to sell everything because I fucking shit myself. I've never been in that position before where you lose your job. Just like, you know, you go into work one morning and halfway through the fucking day you're told you haven't got a job. So, but I didn't, and I really sort of shocked myself by not thinking, shit, I need to get rid of everything. So I don't know. I think I really would have to be really desperate to get shut. Really desperate.
It is bad. I mean, true story here. Like about 2 years ago, I got my arcade cab. Bought it, but I'd ordered it, but I hadn't paid for it yet. And in the intervening 2 months, genuine story, right? I was shortlisted for fucking redundancy. Yeah. So I was shitting myself because it's a nice cabinet. You know, it was 4 figures. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to cancel this. Luckily, I got picked to stay kind of thing, you know, but that was the nearest I've come to a similar thing. And that was only 2 years ago, man. So
yeah, I won't wish it on my worst enemy. I really won't.
So move on.
Any comments?
Yeah. Go on, Mark, you go.
Hang on, mate. I need to unlock. Fucking hell, right. Let's see. That one back.
Just keep any that say that I'm a cunt.
Nobody cares about you, don't
We ain't got that long day,
About you, Peter.
Well, I know that anyway. That's why I get 4 thumbs down every video. Wicked, plus.
I'm one of them.
There's a few. There's a lot of questions and comments, but they're not specifically directed at that question. I can read them out if you want. Most of my, this is from Overrated. This is connected to it. Like most of my collection I've had from day one, so we'll never sell that stuff.
So the statements, Mark.
Yeah.
No, okay. Well, read them out. Yeah, read them out.
YBXA. I think he must have just joined later on. So we've got 30 people. So we've got the most that we've had all night now, believe it or not. PAL games versus current gen, which is worse. I don't know what he means by that, to be honest. With you, booty to CX trade up for games, but my question to you would be, why would you buy some of those complete shite titles you will never play? Well, that's
shout fillers, yeah.
We could have a big discussion about that, couldn't we? My question to you, Stu, is what is your plan for the PC Engine? I've seen some vids and you picking up some titles. Are you aiming for a complete set?
What, of the PC Engine?
Yeah.
Crikey, no.
Not unless he's selling his house.
Yeah, no. PC Engine Turbo Graphics is just whatever takes fancy. See, it's systems like that I like to dip into and out of as they pop up certain titles. And that's what I love about retro. There's always something that you haven't experienced, that you haven't seen, what you don't know about.
Yeah. How many PC Engine titles is it, Stuart?
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Thousands.
It's got to be because it's the Japanese version. So
yeah.
But the PC Engine,
you've got cue cards, you've got CDs as well.
Yeah, but it's all about PC Engine. I mean, if you talk about people often say that to collect cartridges is really good because it's quite dexterous, so you get the feeling of it, and the actual medium is a really nice thing to have. The Hue cards. I mean, how good are they? I think that's a fantastic thing to collect.
Yeah, I like the Hue cards. Really, really cool bit of technology, isn't they? How it didn't catch on to make loads of games like that, I don't know. Even the Master System did it before, though, didn't it?
Yeah, I've got the full Master System card collection.
How many is that?
14, I think. 13, 14.
But how did that not catch on, man? That was such a cool fucking...
I think it's cost. It was cheaper to make them in the cart than it was in the card.
Yeah, it will be.
I used to have the handheld, the Express, was it?
I've got a nice box.
The GT Express, no. I ain't got that one, though.
No, I used to have that. And I had... I remember the Hue cards. I had Street Fighter 2, I think, on it, and normal Hue cards were completely flat down the middle. This had like a big bump because obviously it was twice the capacity.
This one, it's got like a little knob on the top.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Any other questions or statements, Mark?
Let's have a look. 1 second. Yeah. The Hue cards are super cool. That's by YBXA. And Mancave's made some random fucking comment. I don't know what he's on about there. PC Engine GT. Is that the handheld?
Yeah, that's what Steve was on about, yeah.
Ahead of its time now. Well ahead of it. That came out in 89, didn't it?
Yeah.
Turbo Express is that the US version?
That's the US version, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a lovely box for one if someone wants one.
That's it, buddy.
That's it. Right, next question.
Go on.
Pertains to some people, maybe less others. If your collection burnt in a house fire and you had no insurance, would you top yourself?
Yes.
Bit grim. No, fuck, you wouldn't, Gareth.
Fucking would, mate.
No. Life's too precious for that shit.
Depressing, mate.
Go on, Gareth. Justify.
First thing I did.
Justify your response.
Halfway through this collection, The first thing I did was ring my insurance and just say, listen, am I insured for this collection for fire or theft? But absolutely, it's something I think about.
No, you should not though, mate. Because at the end of the day, like you got your beautiful girlfriend there, you got your family, your friends.
She can burn, mate. She can burn, mate. That collection behind me, mate. That's where the importance is. She can fucking burn. Who's next?
You're Baron then for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. She
What
watches.
do you say, Ted?
Look,
Hey?
he's only a two-seater.
Hey?
What do you
I said
say,
don't.
mate?
Oh, me? No, no. There's no way. It doesn't owe me anything. It owes me a couple, maybe, I don't know, a couple of grand. That's it. In realistic terms, it owes me a couple of grand.
Dane?
Nah, as long as me and the cat got out, I ain't bothered.
Is
Mark?
that your pussy?
He's gone. You know what? I'd agree with that, man. It's nothing. They're just things
Right
on the
tongues.
shelf.
Yeah. The bits,
They're
yeah.
just they mean, you know, they mean something because we can recognise them from the past. And yes, of course, we're going to have some kind of sentimental value for them. But in reality, you know what? When we're dead, where the fuck are they going? Some poor twat is going to have to fucking sell them on. Some lucky bastard.
My missus has already asked me about that.
You know, I wish it were me. You know, back in the day when it was just nothing but fucking ornaments. Pete, you got all these ornaments. You can sell them on because your nan's dead. Bless her soul. Lord of mercy. You know, and they're worth nothing. At the car boot sale, 20p. Yeah, right, love. Yeah, that's it. 20p. Yeah, right. I'll wrap them up.
You're selling heritage play for 20p.
That's the same, man. It's the same shit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
They can fuck off.
None
Wipe
of it
out for
means
20
piss
pence.
off.
Bastard. They can fuck off.
That's 5p. Lucy's fucking flogging out for 5p, mate. She wants to go out in the fucking razzle dazzle.
You can imagine, can't you? You can imagine flog it or cash in the attic.
Yeah.
Like 20 years time.
Fuck's sake.
They'll be laughing. They'll be going, fucking remember this? Do you remember that? They thought this was collectible, the fucking center.
Yeah, Pete, I thought that about your fucking Christmas decorations hanging off the ceiling.
He's gone full retro there, hasn't he?
Hasn't he?
This is
That was his nans. It's the only thing he hasn't sold of his nans is the fucking decorations.
It looks like my fucking local community centre 1986.
Pete, what you use? Drawing pins or blue tack?
Oh, that's blue tack up there. Which is yeah, listen.
I remember in the 80s
Workman Club, innit?
pulling a
enjoys
load
it,
of them
man.
down, jumping off my settee, elbow dropping my fucking brother and everything, man. Just taking all the decking back.
Have some fucking Christian values, you disgusting Islamic bastard.
Pete, have you got Merry Christmas in gold tassels over the fireplace?
No, but I will do now, Steve. I'll make sure she gets. Listen, man, Christmas is a special time for us.
It's a special
You know what I
time.
mean? It's a special time. It ain't no joke.
Right, let's move on. Unless there's any comments, Mark, which maybe.
It's not as good as Eve, though.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
What fucking question?
Mhm.
No, there isn't. There we are.
No, right.
Can you
There
even
we
buy
go.
them decorations now, Pete?
Say
Or do you
again,
get
man.
them from Booter? Can you still buy them decorations like that, or have you had to like fucking?
No, well,
His nans. It's the only thing he's kept from his nans. He sold the ornaments at the car boot.
My grandmother from 20 years ago, a few of them were from that particular establishment. However, a lot of these have been purchased, and took out the loft, whatever.
Right, here we
You
go.
need a folding out snowflake that goes round like that.
Dana, shut the fuck. Stop antagonising him. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, the snowflake.
You are. You're just winding him up now. Right. Listen. Next question. Name
That was.
Dana. Name what you believe is an under and overrated console.
Oh,
Ooh.
Well, Dana will say the Dreamcast for overrated.
Yeah, PS4 for.
Dreamcast for overrated. Why would I say that?
You've said it before in the past.
Have I?
Yes,
Dreamcast?
Yes, you have.
I don't think so. I've said it's the most underrated.
Yeah, I'd agree. Dreamcast underrated.
Can I?
Underrated.
No, but can I just interject massively here? Right, I think the term overrated doesn't even exist. It's a stupid term.
Steve,
Obviously,
would you say the term overrated is overrated?
well, I would say the same.
And would you like to interject?
No, because let's be honest, right? If you like something, you rate it. If you don't like something, you don't rate it. So overrated. What the fuck does that mean?
No, I think what it means is a general consensus where there's a hype train that builds behind something, and everyone goes.
I've got two overrated ones. Look, you asked fucking me first, and everyone's fucking jumped in again, are they? Underrated.
Come on.
He'll have that headband off his head in a minute.
Telling me with fucking answers, and he don't even fucking know. Dreamcast, most underrated. I've got two most overrated. I'd say the NES.
It's the N64.
Nah, Xbox. Only thing I use my original Xbox for is emulation.
ooh, fucking hell! Fire. That cut deep.
Sorry, mate.
That cut deep. No, I totally agree with you, Nez. Though I think that is vastly overrated. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
but not in this country, but in America.
Yeah.
Because that's what the kids grew up with.
Yeah, I get that. And they didn't. The Master System wasn't.
The
Wasn't
Master System.
Yeah, but the only reason why everyone bums the NES in this country now is because the Americans mastered YouTube first and tried to fucking convince everyone that our gaming history was different. Every fucker I know. Every fucker I know had a master system.
This is why I don't rate overrated as a valid thing, because everyone has their own opinion.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? And you know, they would look at the spectrum in the UK, right? And objectively, right, they look at that and think
it's a failure.
Look at the state of the graphics on that. It's that's overrated in the UK. So
yeah, if you showed them an Amstrad.
Well,
I think the like Stu says, well, the N64's got to be slightly overrated.
Underrated.
No,
Over.
There
Underrated.
isn't even that many good games for it, Gareth.
There's plenty. And
Yeah,
there are
but
plenty
a
of good
handful.
as well.
A handful.
Some of the best
Okay,
things
I'll throw it out there, Gareth.
were on
If
the
you can't play
N64.
4-player multiplayer on it, name me a fucking really good game other than Mario.
Fuck.
Winner, chicken dinner.
You've got me there, you bastard.
It was designed for people to play together.
Oh,
That's
Win back.
We're talking about one of the best games in
Didn't ask you.
history, aren't we?
I like GoldenEye on it. That were good.
Well,
Incredible.
multiplayer.
The reason why I bought the console.
yeah, but the thing is, though, you say GoldenEye was good, right? The PC FPS of the games of the time, right? What you talk about there, like Half-Life and all that kind of stuff. Not far after. They're far better than GoldenEye, if we're being honest.
You can say that about any PC game.
Yeah, PC.
It's a console, can you?
Steve, when you talk about
no,
PC Master Race,
No, it's not that. No, it's not that. First-person shooters, right, on PCs, right, are better.
yeah, but Steve, you're splitting apples and pears here, mate.
Okay.
Because you can't compare GoldenEye to, like you say, like Quake or Quake 2 on the PC, because the PC cost like fucking 20 times more money to run the same or not too dissimilar to GoldenEye.
Yeah.
The N64 was like, I don't know, 170 quid or something like that.
Yeah, it's good for it. What?
But
Yeah.
to get what you're talking about now, because you're retrospectively looking at it, I was there. I remember because I worked in IT at the time.
I was in IT at the time.
Yeah, and the access that we had to the hardware. I remember the 3DFX cards come out, the Voodoo Banshees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they were worth more than most, like it is now.
Well, yeah, I think
when the N64 came out, it had and that sort of similar or akin technology for like next.
Oh, I know what you mean. No, I know what you mean. I completely agree. I mean, I think my argument's not with the graphics, actually. If I'm being honest with you, Stu, it's with. I'll be genuine about this right now.
You're on about the sort of
mouse control, right?
WSD wins all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever play, to this day, right, and it's slightly off to a tangent, but to this very day, I can't play an FPS game on any kind of controller.
No, mate.
No.
I'm keyboard and mouse.
Once you played with a mouse.
Yeah, keyboard and mouse. I'm exactly the same. I tried to play Halo, and I couldn't. I'm just like thumb adept. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't get the control right.
It's not as good.
I agree with you.
Not as good.
Gareth's right in the comments. He's too scared to say
I can never forget when Stuart Rolls had got a GoldenEye. Went, come on, mate, he's a James Bond fanatic. He got a GoldenEye on the N64, and we went round his manor to play it, and it was fucking atrocious. I only remember it being so difficult to control because, of course, I played Doom and Quake and others on the PC.
Yeah,
and I just fucking switched off. I was like,
no,
this is not for me. This is not for me. And actually, that kind of shit turned me off console gaming until, like I said previously, till 2011.
Well,
in
my opinion, okay, my humble opinion, consoles are really good at certain types of games. Okay, PCs are really good at other types. I would say FPS and strategy games like Red Alert or I don't know, Age of Empires. You can't play them on anything but a PC, in my opinion.
Correct.
But then consoles have also got massive bonus points, like driving games, fighting games, anything like that. Consoles all the way for me. So
yeah, but the thing is, Steve, there was none of them. Only a few, like a Crash Bandicoot and a PlayStation. There was only a few. The major went, right, okay, now I need a PlayStation. As opposed to fucking. You imagine going from Doom and Quake and all them. Okay, you go to Crash, that's an anomaly. Like all the PlayStation stuff to me, other than the 2D jobs, are total anomalies. Like the best of the best. There's only about 50 good games on it. 50.
So you're saying the PlayStation's overrated?
Any answers?
Yeah, so Glory Hunter 82. Definitely underrated the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Dylan Craven, overrated N64 easy. It has about 15 great games tops. Sega Zombie, I agree. N64 so overrated. Also Dreamcast so underrated. Underrated system Sega Saturn by Dylan Craven.
Yeah, good shout.
Question.
Yeah.
The best.
Because the 2D stuff was,
Yeah.
The Saturn is sick as fuck.
Sure, you ain't that generation meant to get out of gaming, man, till 2011.
Right, next question.
Saturn is sick.
Next question.
There was only me who answered that last one.
Pie in the sky here. N64 mini, whatever you want to call it, relevance and are all wanted. Think it ain't gonna happen.
It's not going to happen for a while.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Emulation for the N64 is always.
It's not even good. No.
But I think it definitely will be wanted, and I think if and when it does come out, it will sell.
2 years, 2 years, I reckon. It'll be there 2 years. There's too much money in Nintendo not to do it.
I'm not spoiling my fucking box of minis with that fucking tat.
No, I'd love it. I'd love an N64 mini with the 15 games.
Yeah, they'll do it. They'll do it because there's made that much money out of these two. And
there's demand for it.
They'll wait for
it's not there.
Age of
But
the
you
consumer.
have to come with 4 controllers. You need to be able to have 4 controllers, though. 4 controller
Who gives a fuck about in this day and age? You need 1 controller. All you want is Mario Kart 64, Mario bloody World. What's it called? Mario 64 even. Sorry. Mario
Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie.
Banjo-Tooie, fucking
Zelda, Majora's Mask.
Probably Wave Race.
Anomaly.
There's loads, mate. There's loads. There's loads of good N64 games.
Yeah, but what's the difference with some of them these names? Nintendo have got to pay for licenses for some of them. And they gonna
not all, only the rare ones.
They could do that. They could just go straight up.
No, they'll fill it with
fucking Nintendo only and have a good system.
But they'll wait 2 years. I reckon 2020, right? Because you got to think about how they'll think in meetings, marketing wise.
Saturation levels of the markets.
Yeah. Also, you're going to wait for the people that were around X years ago to be in the same thing as the NES guys were when they bought it and it was so successful. So it's probably 2 to 3 years. SNES, NES, SNES, N64. So they'll probably space it. There's too much money not to do it. You imagine the hype. Whether it's any good or not doesn't matter. As long as they sell it under the hype. Business deal done, isn't it?
Agree. Right, next question.
Slated by Sony if they do that. It doesn't matter if it's any good. Just sell it for the hype.
It's Nintendo, Dane. They ain't gonna fuck about, are they? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They were previous. Right, next one. Bit dubious here. I don't know who this is. I honestly don't. Is it okay to have a tug or a rub over a game character? Now I put rub in there because obviously I don't want to be sexually biased.
He doesn't want to say wank.
No, because women don't have a wank, they have a rub, don't they?
Are you assuming there's only 2 genders here, Stuart?
Oh, yeah. If you're a plant pot, you might have some accent.
I've got a subscription here to the Labour Party if you'd like to, someone.
What? So, any example? What we're talking, Lara Croft and stuff like that?
I'll put it down because I'm asked the question. Is it okay to have a tug? And I put rub because I didn't think it was quite right to sort of genderise it over a game character.
Well, put it this way: a pixelated
Lara Croft
of a woman has never really done much for me.
There you go then.
Right, lads, I've got to go anyway because duty calls to pick up the missus.
I've never
had a tug. I've never had a tug over a gaming character, but I do know that Gareth is very partial to the warrior from Golden Axe. He's told me.
Tyrese Flair.
You are, you bastard. Fuck off.
Dang.
Cheers, Danes.
Yeah.
Right, we'll move on then. Here we go then. Right, what game makes or made you rage quit?
I'll be really generic here. FIFA with the lads.
Mine is
FIFA. It's a common thing.
I can smash fucking bedroom up with it. Literally. That's how bad I am with it.
But it is a genuine thing, and it's called FIFA rage, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think there's a mechanic wrote into the algorithm in that software whereby you can win 4 games on trot and then just get beat for no apparent reason. It's so frustrating.
Sell more controllers.
Oh, I have trash stuff in that room. I won't lie to you.
Crikey.
Yeah, real bad. FIFA rage is right. It's true. It's real.
It's a genuine thing. If you Google FIFA rage, it's fucking real.
Have we any questions, Mark?
Right.
Any
What was the last
statements?
question? Oh, the N64 thing. Let's see where we are.
Probably a little bit before that, but have a nose.
No, I think that the sort of just talking
Between
between.
Souths.
Yeah, just YBX N64 emulation may not be good, but Nintendo would do their own emulation.
Yeah, that's a general consensus. The emulation, even now,
Yeah,
for it isn't. It's not doable.
I mean, it's quite good for the main games, but then if Nintendo put the a bit of concentration behind it, let's put it that way, a bit of money, they could get 20 games out of it, but that's all they get.
Yeah.
There's not much more than that, is there? Let's be honest.
No, there isn't.
Okay. So talking about, well, actually segueing into that, is the hype for quote unquote mini consoles still there?
Well,
what you got left?
I mean, have Sega brought out? Cause I know they've had third party
games. What a fucking no.
But have they brought out a proper one?
No.
Can they?
Because there's a sub license at all that at games. That's the problem.
That is a problem, isn't it? Because I maintain if there was, if there was a Mega Drive Mini that was properly done with the main games, it would kill it. It would, especially in this country.
Yeah.
Even in the Genesis in America was massive.
Yeah.
It would kill it. And I'd also say, and I've said this on a few conversations on Twitter and what have you. Right, you've had the C64 Mini. Right, imagine the Amiga Mini.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh. With the maps.
And that's possible.
Oh.
That is possible.
I bet there's a big sort of call for that as well.
That's possible. The Amiga
of course it is, because the whole Amiga library could fit on a 4 gig flash card.
Yeah.
Yeah, possible, mate.
I tell you what,
easily done.
In the UK and Germany and maybe France, that could be the biggest seller.
Massive.
Fucking huge, that'd sell.
I'd buy it straight away. Little Amiga that big. Amazing.
But who owns a license to all that shit now?
Well, to be fair, mate, a lot of the games now are on Home of the Underdogs and that, or
the domainware.
Yeah. So they're all freeware. Most of the games.
Freeware. Yeah.
Yeah, but who would own the license to create the sort of the mini model of it?
Well,
I don't think Commodore exists anymore because Escom bought Commodore, didn't they? I think Escom went to the wall.
So it's the same people, or the same people that did the C64 Mini could do the Amiga Mini, surely.
Yeah. I think. Do you know what? And
I'd buy one.
Surely the guys that made the C64 Mini must be thinking that.
Yeah, I think so. I'd expect to see that next 2 years, 3 years.
Well, there's the little guys. Talk between yourselves.
I'd definitely buy that, without a doubt. Probably more so than any mini consoles, to be honest with you.
Yeah, imagine the plethora of Amiga games is ridiculous. It's like almost endless.
Well, if you think about it, it's the only real machine, barring the N64, that hasn't been done yet, innit? You know, forget about your Mega Drive because that's not going to happen, is it? Or Sega ones, that's Saturn. But the Amiga one, if that's viable prospect, then that is the one that needs to happen.
Oh, there's so many good games. Yeah, I mean, and I've got on my console, I've got it on Hyperspin, the Amiga, and even though it's on an arcade cab, you get basically preloaded images of each game, so you don't even depend on the multiple ADF disc images.
Right.
So from an arcade point, which is similar to what a console would be, basically they're all preloaded. As soon as you load the game up, it's all done. So,
excellent.
so it's really, so there's not even that problem to overcome.
Yeah, I must admit, because I in recent times I've really struggled with Amiga emulation. I find it a bit convoluted. When you're trying to actually load the games.
Well, yeah, generally you need the PC, you need the emulator, don't you? You need the disk images.
I've got some at daft like God knows how many games on Xbox, but I'll be honest with you, I can't load them up. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's very complicated because what you've got to do is you've got to actually emulate the disk images within the emulated environment.
Right.
So you're not emulating within Windows. You're emulating the disk images to multiple load within the emulated Amiga environment. So all gets very, very complicated. I mean, basically, I've not done it. I basically someone else has done it, and I've just took what they've done. So, but that's why from an outsider trying to just casually dip into it to do it. What
about you, Gareth? Do you think the Amiga sort of Mini, if there were one, would do well?
Yeah, I do. It's very popular. I mean, people love the Amiga. I mean, personally, I'm not a big fan of it. That wasn't my generation, but if it came out tomorrow, it would do incredibly well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. Well, right, I don't know what. We haven't got many more questions to be. Comments, guys. I tell a lie. Christopher 78, Amiga Mini would be the best Mini. I agree, mate. And that's about it. I'll be absolutely honest with you, mate. I need to transfer my 5-year-old from our bed into her bed. So I'm gonna disappear as well, if you don't mind. But I've really enjoyed. I think we've missed the big guy, haven't we?
Yeah.
Missed his input tonight.
Because
I know we're looking forward to it as well. But
is he okay? Is it all good?
Yeah, I don't know what the issue with it. He said he just felt unwell.
No, I didn't feel too good, mate. That's it.
I'll give him a bell tomorrow. I'll make sure he's okay. Right, guys, take it easy. I've really enjoyed it.
Take care, Mark.
Right, so guys, we've still got a few questions to run through if you're feeling healthy.
Fucked off with this.
Yes, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, carry on.
You, mate.
Game of the year.
The one that won the game of the year, or what we think is the game?
This says game of the year. What do you think is the? I'm guessing it means what do you think is the game of the year?
Wow.
What's your game of the year?
Jesus, that's tough.
Octopath Traveler on the Nintendo Switch again.
Yeah, good shout.
It's difficult.
It is difficult for me because I'm trying to think.
So I'm guessing a lot of people probably would have thought initially Red Dead Redemption 2. But God of War technically beat it, didn't it? In the official awards. I mean, I'm not a current gen gamer, so I'm just spinning stuff out here.
I mean, I think Red Dead 2 basically is GTA 5 in the Wild West. I mean,
yeah,
there's not much not to like there, but I must admit I've not bought it yet, so I can't give that my game of the year. Even though I think if I bought it, I probably would. So it's a difficult one for me.
This might be a Mark question. I don't know whose it was. I don't know.
If I had to pick, I'd say God of War, but there hasn't been a game this year that's really drawn me in, if I'm honest.
Now,
Spider-Man, in fact. Spider-Man was incredible. I
was
wouldn't
different.
do it game of the year either. Yeah, it's a big deal, isn't it, game of the year?
Mm.
I know what next year's will be for you, Gareth.
Oh, yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt, mate. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Get you out fault throwing.
But no, I mean, I think this year I've to be honest, I've played lots of retro or indie games. So it's a genuine answer. So I'm not. I'll tell you what I really enjoy, but it's probably not the game of this year. It's last year. It's a quick, easy indie game that I play, and it's basically a 3D. Would you call it a racing game? I don't know. It's called it's a Chase the Sun, and you just go left and right and up, and but so addictive. It's yeah. So I don't know. I haven't got an answer really.
Okay, move on. Probably this isn't going to be much use either. Games you're hyped for next year.
Gareth, take over.
Resident Evil 2 remake, January.
Yeah.
The Last of Us 2, we don't know the date.
Say it louder, Gareth. Say it louder. Shout it.
Most likely July. But there's a few games next year, yeah, absolutely.
See, I'd be tempted to get a PS, whatever it might be, for Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed Last of Us 1. I thought it was a great game.
I will be, if I can skive work, I will be skiving work
for
that game. And that's the only game I can think of where I will be not only putting my money where my mouth is, but skiving work if need be to play it as soon as possible. But yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I've not looked at what's coming out in the current year.
No, I don't.
A lot of my, again, I'll go back to the indie stroke retro-ish theme of my last year in PS4. A lot of the games I buy are limited run or things like that. Despite you go over the internet and people complain about why are they doing this, why are they doing that, I think it's a fantastic thing to collect for now, because there's a couple of thousand of them, and they'll give you the time of release on the website. And if you get there at the time, you get the game. I've got loads of good stuff this year. So my answer probably is a genuine thing from the past year, is that I actually look forward to what the limited run, and there's a few other studios or companies that do the same thing. What are they going to release? Because we're talking about the Amiga love previously. Like, I've got Another World on order, limited run, which is a nice little game to have. I've just got, I put this up on before. I've just got this great game called 99 Vidas, which, if you like games like Street of Rage 2 or whatever,
Run, Right and Fight.
But basically, yeah, it's a really good beat 'em up, scroll and beat 'em up, yeah. Very much in the retro style, but it's actually it's based on a podcast in Brazil, and all the characters. Strangely, it's a retro games podcast in Brazil, and all the characters in this game are based on those people that do the podcast. It's quite funny.
Right.
Yeah, but the artwork is absolutely fantastic. You got like big end of level bosses and all that stuff. And but this is like I don't know who extremely limited run games or something. Oh, strictly limited run games it's called. But so I might be able to get that. But I just think it's going back to what you do, Stu, especially. I don't do it to all these retro systems, but it's actually fun to collect these PS4 limited editions, because it's just fun. I don't know, but what I don't do, I don't get these special editions which have the big statues that are about this big, because to be fair, how many of them can you get? Because they take up all these space. You know what I mean? So I mean, that's probably what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to more of the same on that sense. So yeah, apologise for going on so long.
All right. So the one that I'm hyped for, I don't know if you know it's going to be released, is that Pillium. on the Mega Drive.
Oh, that's never going to be released, is it?
No, we don't know. We can but hope.
I was looking at that yesterday, actually, because I think there's a guy on Twitter, I think Lord Arse.
I don't know. I don't do Twitter. I should get on Twitter.
He's very vocal in his opposition. You know, if anyone fucks up, like, and
is it Fonzie? Isn't it? Fonzie's the main guy. It's the French guy. He's the one that's just doesn't talk to anybody or
disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that didn't have a big launch party or something recently in Paris.
Well, apparently it was a launch, but it wasn't a launch, and I don't know.
But didn't they have a glitchy beta on display at the launch? And then apparently the marketing team have said about that game, oh yeah, we only had a glitchy beta on display because we didn't want all the backers to see the finished product. It was like a bizarre explanation. It didn't make any sense. So they reckon they took the money and ran them there?
I don't know. No, because can they? They can't take your money and run.
Well, but apparently loads of people have asked for refunds, and the emails have gone dead. The website's gone dead.
Yeah, that's direct with them. But the ultimate thing is you just go back to PayPal and say, "Well, give me my money back."
Yeah. Oh, fair enough, mate. But
yeah, no, and they'll just rip it straight out of them.
It's a massive controversy, isn't it? Now
they need to do something. But you know, again, I mean, I'm no expert on sort of backing Kickstarters. It's not my forte. But Watermelon did deliver on what's you call it?
PS Solar,
yeah, PS Solar. So I've got that the second edition. I didn't get the Dreamcast one. So they're kind of a little bit renowned for being a bit elusive, I think.
Well, fair enough. Well, they need to just communicate, I think, don't they?
I think it's this Fonzie guy, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, again, a lot. I don't know. I'm not in that circle, so.
Actually, if you go back to Kickstarter, though, I've got 2 PS4 games on that are back that I'm waiting for. So, Shenmue 3.
Yeah, that's been kicked up again, hasn't it, this year?
Yeah. It's been kicked back again. Well, it's been kicked back to 2019 now, so. We are getting updates though, so I think it's nearly there. The other one is actually a really interesting game. I'm not sure if you guys have heard, called Battle Princess Madeline, and it's basically it was a guy that was into retro games. He was a coder, and his daughter really enjoyed playing Ghouls and Ghosts. So. Basically, he turned around and said, I'm going to make the ultimate Ghouls and Ghosts based on his daughter's name's Madeline. So he done a Kickstarter campaign, and it's just been finished now, actually. So
is it easier?
But well, who knows? Probably not.
It's not easier, is it?
No. But so I'm actually looking forward to that because the fact that it took him 2 years to make it from scratch. We did a Kickstarter, and I mean. I've had lots of updates. It looks really good game, actually. He's built it with love because his daughter's involved in it. So it looks a good game. So I think the first 3 months of next year I should get shipped that. So that should be good. Awesome. Anyway, I'll let you guys interject now. So fine. Right.
So next, we've only got a few left, guys. So them's that are here. But kudos. Well, get into Christmas Eve. What do you think will be collectible in the future that isn't retro now? I think these are Dylan. I'm sure these are Dylan's questions.
I think it's obvious titles like Zelda, The Last of Us. I think they will be collectible in 20, 30 years.
Let me have a look at the comments. Hang on.
It's the obvious titles.
Yeah, I think you're right. Go on, Bennett.
Carry on, Gareth. The Last of Us. What else?
Yeah, talk to me. So I'm just trying literally to scroll through because I know Mark's gone.
Yeah, just the obvious titles. I think titles that are considered Game of the Year. I think you're going to find and I will agree with this actually, that you're going to find probably more Nintendo that's more collectible now than ever. I think Nintendo in the next 20 years, let's say on the Switch, on the Wii U, will be more collectible than PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3. And I think that's down to a lot of different reasons, but also the fact that it's not as common as, let's say, the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, because obviously they're quite common titles, which is why the PlayStation 2 is not very collectible. It's because it sold so many units, and
so the Switch is almost like the
so common.
Yeah, so the Switch is almost like the Dreamcast of this generation.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Gareth, tell us about. So you want The Last of Us 2? I mean, obviously it's going to get massive hype. So
Steve, we're not done yet, mate. You're switching. You're switching.
Oh no, sorry. I just thought what he was looking forward to that game. So I was just asking Gareth to explain it a bit. That's all.
Well, the first game sold 18 million copies. It's one of the best games ever made. In terms of sales, it's certainly one of the best-selling games ever created. The second one, I think, will break records.
Steve, what you don't do is talk to Gareth about Last of Us.
Yeah, true.
I'm juggling here. Right, so Dylan Craven is... Well, let's go back. Pete, what do you think will be the collectible console in the future that isn't retro now? Is Pete still with us? Is he still alive?
He's gone for a toilet break.
Has he gone for a toilet break?
I think so.
So for me, and I think Dylan's allured to this in the comments, Wii U. I think that's a bit of a sleeper.
I think so, yeah.
Some degrees.
Well, yeah. I said about the Switch actually in 20. I think the Wii U.
Yeah.
In a couple of years will be like.
It will.
Thought of, yeah.
And I say it's not because it's a fantastic system, isn't it? It's Nintendo.
It's a good
and
system.
It didn't sell well.
Yeah, I mean it was a good system. I mean it's one of those niche things that when you look. I mean, obviously Nintendo had massive success with the Wii originally, but more so than that, the reason they released the Wii U, okay, despite the name, okay, is because of their success with the DS, and their idea was, let's bring the DS into a living room, so you have a little screen and then the main screen. So that was their whole ethos, wasn't it? Really.
If you look at it, if you I can't remember where I've seen it. There was an article that was really well written, and it just tracks. Nintendo don't do shit by accident. Right, it's an evolution, and you look at all of their stuff, and you can take chunks out of this, that, the other, and it all evolves. Take that bit, that one, that, and before you get to know it, you're at the Switch,
yeah,
which is basically the Wii U pad with the fucking old Wii controls. Even it literally all marries up, and they're trying to perfect that end game.
Yeah,
nothing's done by accident. They're too clever for that.
I mean,
they've been in this game long enough, and they've outlasted all the fucking guys that have come along. I mean, Sony and Microsoft, the big pretenders at the minute. And everyone sort of says about Nintendo, oh, they're finished. I remember a couple of years back, they're finished. They've got no money. Man, fucking no one. If you say that, you don't know jack shit about Nintendo, about the Pokemon franchise.
They keep their money, don't they?
Billions. Absolute fucking.
I agree with you, Stu.
Only lost money on the PS3, PS4, and literally they were basically backstopped from their TV technology, and that's lost money.
Yeah.
Microsoft lost money on the Xbox just purely to get market penetration. Nintendo never sold any consoles at a loss.
Yeah.
Right, they've never done it.
Nintendo are experts in reinventing themselves.
Yeah.
And whether they, you know, they've got no egos behind it, they'll accept that they won't be the most powerful, but they will say, "Well, who gives a shit?"
They'll do their own thing. Yeah, they're their own masters. They don't give two fucks.
Yeah, I can give the gamer an experience that the other guys will try to replicate, but they will not replicate. So if you go, for example, the Mario franchise, which is the most obvious example, Sony tries to replicate that, didn't they? With who's the little Sackboy guy?
Crash Bandicoot.
No, the little Sackboy guy recently, last 10 years. What's it called? The platformer.
Right.
That says it all, doesn't it?
I know what you mean. Yeah, there's a few of them. All the inertia things.
No, but no, this is really well known. Sony platformer.
I know what you mean. Yes, one of the characters is called Sackboy.
Yeah, but we can't remember it, can we?
No, 'cause it's stupid.
So the millions that Sony put behind it, and to be fair, they're good games, but it's still. Oh, this is like Sony's version of Mario, isn't it?
Little Big Planet.
11B.
Little Big Planet.
Yeah, Little Big Planet, yeah. And they are very good games, and there's no doubt that they're good games, but they are not a Mario platformer. They're an imitation of it at the end of the day, I think. So.
Yeah, they're shouting Little Big Planet in the comments.
Yeah. And I'm a Sonic lad, but even I appreciate what Nintendo brought to the platform genre. So, you know,
just trying to look through the comments we haven't missed. YBXA, you were the collector system. Yeah, we know that. Yeah. No. Have we got anybody left? Who's left here? Is Pete alive? Is fucking Gareth alive?
Just about. Where's Pete?
Right, let's just do one more question. We'll call it a night then. Let's finish this one off. Favorite Christmas themed game or memory? Let's wrap it up with that one then, guys. Anybody? Start your engines.
Okay, so probably mine from a memory. Well, I'll give you two. How about that? And two different generations at that. So the first memory actually was right. This is going way back to the mid '80s. And this is when I was a youngster. My dad had bought me an Amstrad CPC 464 with the color monitor, but because the shop didn't have the game pack at the time, something's happened there. But anyway, because basically we got the computer. And he wanted to set it up before Christmas, so he set it up. This must have been 2 days before Christmas Eve. It was set up in the little spare room or the home office. But I had no games to play. This is genuine memory. So my dad came in from work. I remember him. It must be Christmas Eve, and he obviously had a phone call from the computer shop to say that he got the Armsoft 12-pack. If you remember the big selection box of games that had Rolling on the Ropes, Rolling in the Caves, Manic Miner, Animal, Vegetable, Mineral, all that kind of stuff. So that was all brought, and he brought it in with a big smile on his face. And he came to me because I was sat downstairs. He went, because this wasn't the main, this is like a family present kind of thing. It wasn't like my toy present, it was a family present. He went, "Look what we've got, Stephen. Look what we've got." And I looked at it, and because it was about that big and looked like a Cadbury selection box, but it wasn't. And I didn't quite know what computer games were at the time because I'd never had one before. I looked at this selection, which is a brilliant present, these days, if you look at it. But I looked at it once, and he said it's games, it's not chocolate. I cried because it looked like a Cadbury selection box, but it was flipping computer games.
Oh dear, bless you.
Yeah. So that's a 100% genuine story. So yeah, on to the next guy anyway, sorry.
Anybody else? Last question. Xmas gaming memories, opener of a game or console?
I was very fortunate in 1991, and a lot of people had a Sega Mega Drive. And in the Mega 500, a few had a Famicom, Super Famicom, of course. But what I was gifted was this, and it means so much to me. I was gifted one piece of A4 paper, and I was allowed to potentially make a paper airplane from this A4 paper, but only one sheet. So I made the aeroplane, and I enjoy to fly it. It looks a little bit like that, and it flew, and that's what we did to enjoy Christmas. That's my story.
Well, I think that's a fair wrap up of tonight's proceedings. Thanks everybody that's took the time to watch. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll hopefully see you in the new year. Take it easy, YouTube. Talking Retro Liberties, signing off. And thanks to all the people that have watched, subscribed, and joined, Steve included. Take it easy, guys.